So we've got accommodation booked. Numbers has a new venue. I don't have to marry Numbers. It's been a win-win this week, mate. Yes!
It has been a win-win for you. Oh, I thought we were going to finally get you hitched off.
Boy could dream, but no.
Boy could dream indeed. Dorks Down Under. I do find it hilarious how good our perfect timing is, obviously.
What do you mean?
Well, obviously, we should have been talking about Warhammer this week, given the fact that Magic the Gathering and Warhammer are doing their crossover.
I know.
With the Commander decks, but it's like, God forbid. It's like, we could have looked at the calendar and just gone, you know what, we'll hold that conversation a week. But
I know. I didn't realise it was coming out this soon, if I'm honest. I thought it was still like a little while off.
No, I knew it was coming up, but I didn't realise. I was just like you. I thought, oh, it's coming towards Christmas, not the thing. But I always forget that the Commander set is released in, fall, as they say. They say fall, but for us it's spring.
Yeah, I know. It's weird though, because I won't lie though, the Nids look cool, and I just like them because they're Nids.
I love the Nids. Oh, but the Necrons, man.
Oh, the Necrons are going to be. Oh, that's going to be. I reckon that's going to be the number one deck, if I'm honest.
Literally, I saw some of the cards. I'm like, oh my lord! And then literally everyone else is like, oh, it's a good job you can't make artifacts. Like, oh, great, fabulous.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
The base set, it's like, oh, great, fabulous. They could just make more bodies for days, and then all you have to do is stick a micro lattice in there at some point, and that way you got two ways of doing it. It's so wrong.
I know. It's exciting though. Like I like seeing the crossovers like that, and I saw Magic the Gathering Instagram. They did the whatchamacallit.
Oh yeah, they did the card with a miniature. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And what's weird though is Pete the Wargamer, who I've mentioned way too many times on this channel. We're kind of promoting him without meaning to. He actually got a sponsored stream.
All right, might as well.
Yeah, he actually got a sponsored stream by them to make the Necron Lord. So he actually made it. I haven't watched it yet. I saw it, and I won't lie, it came out about a week ago, and I've just been really slack. But I can't wait.
There's so much content to watch at the moment.
We got episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, 5, and then pretty soon we're going to have 6. Like, there's just so many great things on the internet.
Well, funnily enough, you should say that, Des. Welcome, Kiora. Sorry, hang on. It is Maori language week. Let me, I can do this. Kiora kato. Welcome everyone to Dorks Down Under. I'm your co-host Jordan, and joining me across the pond is Des, all the way over in Australia.
Choice,
terrible Aussie accent. Terrible Australian accent showing off skills.
It's good, man. It's good. I like it. It's horrible.
So, yeah, even representing Tiara Maori Language Week.
I'm wearing a black V-neck because I own I swear to God, I reckon people must think we either film these all on the same day or I only own one set of clothes.
Well, no, they can't be because I wear a different look every single time, and it just looks like that you're possibly an AI generated robot, is what I'm assuming.
That'd be sick though. I'd be down with that. No, it's hard because I worked in nightclubs for so long. I tend to find that I used to just always wear jeans, black top. So when I find one that I like, and to be fair, the last time I worked at a club, I ended up doing a week to help a friend out at this bar he was opening. So I was helping him train in different things. So I went out and I found these black tops at I think Cotton On or something like that. And I just went, well, I'm going to be working a week. I'll just buy 7 or 8. So then I got 1 per day, and then I don't have to wash them every day because it's a pain in the ass. And to be fair, after a trip in a nightclub, and now I just find them comfortable, so I wear them. But because I literally only have 2 weekends, I literally just wear 2, wash them.
I do the same. I'm a bit of a bigger lad. I'm not exactly built small.
He's full of love, everybody.
It's honestly, it's rugby player genetics from all my dad's side of the family. We're all massive in the shoulders. It doesn't help your frame. But yeah, basically, whenever I find if I find like a t-shirt that I like, and I find that if the fitting's good at whatever store, it's like, oh, this is perfect. I'll buy it in maybe 2 or 3 different colours, and that way I've got the same. It's just like, and I saw it was a trend on TikTok saying, "Oh, if I find something, I buy it, and I buy it. It's the same thing in a different colour." And it's like all these women showing off the same exact dress, and they own all 18 colours of it. And it's like
that's smart.
I do this as well. I'm just gonna put my head down because I did the same thing.
Yeah, Jordan Moore has got 18 different dresses and the same dress in different colours.
Yes. I tell you what, I look Fabulous calves.
You've got the calves for the dresses, though. That's why, man. You got the greatest calves. But
Yeah.
my biggest problem was I just bought them all in the same color, so they're all black. So I do have different tops. Next week, I'm going to try to wear a different color top. I say that, but chances are what's going to happen is I'm going to do what happened today, where Cherish is going to want to pick a few things up from the grocery store and then go to Peter Alexander to get some new pajamas and stuff. And I'll forget, and I'll just chuck this on because it's easier, and I'll go and I'll come back and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I literally drove in. We put the stuff upstairs and I sat straight down and I pretty much called you for this podcast. Like that's how late I was running.
Oh, you weren't late. We're still early.
Yeah.
We're technically early. I mean, our slot is 5 p.m. your time, so we're always good.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, no, so I just kind of panicked. So I just went, okay, cool, sat down. I'm like, good. And I was like, and then as soon as I saw myself on screen, I'm like, I've really got to wear another t-shirt next week. I just don't know. I don't know. Like I think I've got 7 of these. And then the other ones I've got are like kind of like Bonds tops, so they're just round neck, but the exact same kind of shirt. Because I just happen to have a few of those from the last time I worked clubs. And I'm like, yeah.
I envision your wardrobe or your drawers. It's just you open up and it's a sea of black.
Oh man, you see it. So I've got my work clothes, right? So they've got black pants, a black jumper, and then 5 different shirts. And then I have just a wall of black. So there's just a wall of black, and I won't lie. After this podcast, I'll take a photo and we'll put it in the edit. But there literally is just a chunk of black, and then there's
that's editor Des can hook us up with that image.
And then there's a few coloured t-shirts that I do wear, but I tend to wear them in the summer just because they're nicer and lighter and stuff like that. Where because I tend to go out in just a t-shirt, I'm just like, yeah, this one's a little bit thicker, so it's a bit warmer. Where the other one's a bit lighter and more summery. So that's what I do. So I'm going to try to wear a summery t-shirt next week. Promise.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You'll forget.
I'll probably forget, yeah.
Dorks down under.
So ladies and gentlemen, this week our main topic is going to be content creation. Because me and Des have been doing content creation I've been doing it for the last 8 years, something like that.
Yeah,
and
my
I
first review came out 8.5 years ago.
Yeah, so we've been doing content creation, and we're going to discuss it for a variety of reasons. But before that, we're just going to do our little normal catch up. Yes. But yeah, so I'll tell you what's new with me. Our building, our current house, we got a lot of new bills, extra overrun bills. Fabulous!
Oh, no.
That was lovely. Yeah.
So, all right, love, here you go. This is just $50,000. Enjoy.
Oh
Lovely.
God, it was horrible. But these things do happen.
That's what I'm dreading. That's what I'm dreading too. Like I'm like, oh, like the good thing is what's included in mine. There is a lot of set stuff that's included, like rock removal and different things, which is one of the reasons why we went to this builder, because there's a lot more inclusions in different things. So, fingers crossed.
I mean, basically, with my building company, everything was agreed up front. But the problem has happened is, of course, supply and demand issues have occurred because various countries around the world have had production problems and blah. So prices have slightly gone up. So we had one bill for that with all the different price increases over all the bills that we've paid so far, which is bad. But it's like, all right, it was bound to happen at some point.
See, mine set price. As soon as I pay the money down, that's what they do. Because also what this company does is they buy it all.
Yeah, so no. Basically, I mean, all these extra bills we could actually put through to the bank if we want, but it kind of reduces that buffer we've got. So we kind of we're judging it at the moment. The other bill was it's the first bit of our plumbing bill. The problem being, which is a great problem to have, is they've gone to connect the sewer line, the last bit they need to do, and it's not where it's meant to be. Oh yeah, they dug the trench, and it's like it's not here. The run council like, oh, it's where it is on the plans, and went right, okay. So they went to the trench, and basically, which is in the driveway, and they basically dug out the entire driveway to find this pipe. And they still can't find it.
You know what I'm guessing is it's mirrored. I reckon it's on the other side.
Well, we're in a big cul-de-sac, so there's basically the cul-de-sac bit. There's the main drain in the middle of the road, so they're gonna have to put a camera up there to find where it is. Now, it might be on the property line for either of the neighbours, possibly.
Oh god.
Or B, which I think is more likely, is that it's where it's meant to be, but the pipe's not long enough, and it's probably underneath the concrete pavement, which is which is where our boundary line is. I suspect.
Oh no! I don't feel like sometimes with cul-de-sacs, I feel like what they've done is they've just done this and flipped the plans. But then when they've done it, it's gone. I'm guessing it's going to be on the opposite side.
Bear in mind, this went through a massive development. So the fact is that we know that the sewer lines are there because all the other houses have been done. So obviously there is the third option is the pipe's not there.
God.
But I highly doubt that, because if you think about that, means logically that someone in council has signed off that this build, that all the infrastructure was done correctly.
Yeah.
And then that will be a massive boo-boo on them, and a very big costly thing. So I guarantee that's probably a very unlikely scenario.
That's insane.
So it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, because it's slowing down this one bit. Obviously, everything else is cracking on. They've said, screw it, everything else can crack on while we wait for the camera guy to come and do all that. They're doing all the jibbing and the brickwork, and they're getting everything else done, sort of thing. Because I was going
to say, I'm pretty sure on Amazon, or I think it was AliExpress even, I saw one you just connect to your phone and you can just put it down the toilet or whatever. I'm like, let's just do that, mate.
Yeah, but we can't do it that way. We've got to go into the big main drain.
Yeah, with a little camera on your phone, and you can just it's a 3-meter thing, mate.
Would you want to go down in the main sewer drain with your camera in?
I'm just going to put it down the drain and then weave it through, and then just push it all the way through.
But no, so basically they've got to go through and get this camera guy to come along, and obviously it's going to have that GPS tracker on it as well. So if the pipe is there, please let the pipe be there. If the pipe is there, it's obviously going to go along, and then whenever it stops, they'll say, all right, GPS ping, like bloody Minesweeper, and like bing, 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 and they'll find it. And hopefully it's not on either the neighbour's property, because if it is, that's going to be entertaining.
Oh, anyway. Man. There's a good way to make your neighbours happy. It's just like, hey, how's it going? I'm Jordan.
Hey, I just need to dig up your lawn. Well, the problem is, one neighbour has lawn, the other one has the entire concreted driveway. So I pray to God, I am praying to God that it's not on the concrete side.
How not to make friends with your neighbours?
Luckily our neighbours like us so far. But I don't. I'm praying it's the scenario is the pipe's where it is, but it's not long enough, and it's currently stuck underneath the concrete pavement, which obviously would be the council's problem.
That's what I think. You think
technically, because I think our boundary is up until the pavement.
Yeah. Normally, it's
so logically, if the pipe's in the middle of there, then it's like, well, we've got to connect it, and surely the council have to put us the bill. Obviously, they'll probably, logically, as the council should say, is while you're there, could you do the work and then just bill us? Logically,
that's all right. Then you know what you do? You get them to bill you, and then you bill them for twice as much, just to be like,
I wouldn't do such a thing like that.
I can help you. I can help you edit it. Remember, I'm good with editing, man. I can help you edit it, so that's fine.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. So that's my week. It's been great. Apart from that, having to have the internet safety talk with my son because he's been downloading games to his Chromebook. At 8 years old, and we had to have that conversation. So, Bluey hasn't got to that episode yet, so I had to work off my own knowledge rather than using bandage logic. So
Jordan is Bluey now. He's now taken over.
Hey! I'm loving the show. Me and Ellie are both loving it. We think it's the best thing. All we're thinking is like, where was this show when Eddie was little, so we could justify watching it without worrying.
I'm eating these Lifesavers sticks, and they kind of got like these gummy things with like sherbet inside.
Oh, okay.
And I'm obsessed with them. I've kind of eaten like 3 packets in the last 2 days.
Yeah. Do you have an addiction? Do we need to have a chat?
I need to watch that episode of Bluey about obsession with Lifesaver sticks. So sorry if you can hear me eating, but I'm obsessed, like proper obsessed. But no, so he's mate. See, I wanted to bring a phone for him so he could play Pokemon with us, and then you go and buy him a Chromebook.
No, he has a Chromebook for school.
Oh, okay.
So the school requires him to have a Chromebook, which is fine. And he's got things like Minecraft Education on there. Again, fine. No problem with that. But, of course, he's been talking to his friends, and his friends are all playing this... What is it? I can't even remember. It's Vixian or whatever. Basically, it's like Minecraft, but with guns.
Oh,
and
cool.
It's like... Which, if he was... the age rating is 13, and if he was 12, I would happily have a conversation about it. The fact is that at 8 years old, And I was having to explain. I actually said to her, I said, I wish I could download an app that could limit his bandwidth to like dial-up speed.
Oh god.
So you'd have. Could you imagine? Because then that would sort of he'd feel the pain that we had to go through.
Except for, you know what you should do? Just do that between between 9 and 3 he can have internet, so he can use it at school, and then after that it just goes to absolute crap.
After that, it's then dial up, and he'll have to sit through the 5 minute of noise.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
So
that still reminds me of these TikToks and stuff you see where you see like the mother and the daughter standing there and they're just like, let's confuse people under the age of like, I think it's like 25. And then all of a sudden they're like, tell me if you know what this sound is. And you hear the dial up music and the mother obviously reacts and the kid's like, what is it? And they don't know.
Oh yeah. Or where they say, oh, what's a landline? A landline. It's a cable on the ground, or what is it? A collect call. I had a great one the other day. A collect call. You went, oh, that's a call where you get together with your friends and talk all at the same time. So it's like a collective call, and it was just like, oh my god. You feel really old.
Collect calls are great. We used to always call collect calls, and they said, "Oh, like yeah, tell us a number," and you just rattle off a random number, and then they'd be like, and then it's like, record your message now, and then you'd say like stupid names or whatever. But we used to use it all the time. Like I used to call my mum, and then it says, "Would you accept a collect call from Pick Me Up Now, Mum?" And they know you're at like High Point or the cinemas, and then so they'd hear that, and they're like, "Would you accept the calls?" And you're like, "Nope," and then you know to go pick them up. That was the thing that we used to always do.
That used to. I mean, yeah, we used to do that with the. Oh my god, this is now taking me back. The old postbox telephones.
I love those.
In the UK. They because you used to be able to dial. It wasn't like collect calling. It was kind of like you could drop call.
Oh yeah, when it dials.
It would dial the number. It would dial the number, and of course, but if you hadn't put money in, it would then cut you off like a second in.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you would just know that, if suddenly you're getting drop call 3 times from a certain number, it's like, suddenly it's like, oh, so you'd save in your mum's phone of, oh, this is the phone box at X Place. And it's like, oh, great. So she knows drop call 3 times. All right, I'll go pick them up now.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's the same kind of thing. But we used to use collect call and it's be like, pick me up, mum. I'm at High Point. And then hang up. You're like, so you have to try to fit everything into 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, it's because collect call wasn't a big thing in the UK. It was more. It was an America. Well, we knew it from America.
Yeah,
because it was on. Oh, will you accept the call for blah blah blah?
Yeah,
blah?
And that's pretty much what we had here. But the difference is what they. I think what they used to have here was they used to call a lady, and then the lady would do it, and then so that you'd call like a switchboard, and the switchboard would then from there pass you on to whoever it was.
And of course, they're plugging in wires like this, obviously.
It wouldn't surprise me, to be fair. It was pretty old school. But then, and then they decided that it's just easier to take it to an automated system and then get you to record it, which made it even more perfect. But yeah, there was certain things where they're like, oh, what's your name? Oh, my name's Derek. Like, say, for example, High Point, which was our local shopping mall. So as soon as my mum hears that, she's like, oh, actually, no, I won't. And the girl would be like, listen, no one's accepting the call. I was like, oh, that's all right, thank you. And you'd hang up. And then she'd know where you are at High Point, or you'd say, like, Derek at, like, say, Odeon. I've changed it to English cinema. But, yeah, we've got Hoytsville Village here, but we'd just say, oh, it's Derek Hoyts. Okay, cool. And they're like, my mum would go, no, and then she'd come pick us up.
Yeah.
But, same thing. It was kind of dodgy, but it worked.
But, yeah, so, I kind of feel like an old man at the moment when having to have these talks and blah blah blah. Yeah. So anyway, what's happening with you? What's happening with you? Let's get off my life. Let's get on to.
I was going to say, and then after he talks to Thingo, he comes in and he's like, hentai, enter. I'm watching this just in case he downloads it. You reckon they'd fall for that? No.
No, I don't reckon they'll fall for that. I'll be honest. I don't think that'll happen. But yeah,
well, you know what's weird? I only just learnt what it was called the other day.
How do you not know this?
I knew what it was. But I didn't actually know the name for it. I just thought it was anime porn. And someone's like, no, it's called hentai. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I just genuinely just thought it was it was anime porn. That's all I thought it was called. So I wanted to feel smart and use the word now because I'm like, I know it. Oh God,
did you ever see a show called Cash Cab? It was like a game show. It's like this guy who drives. It's a weird game show in America. I don't know if they do it anymore, but basically it was like a taxi service. and the person would flag down the taxi, and they would get in thinking it's a normal taxi, and of course they'd enter into a game show. So they have until wherever the destination is, and they can win money for however many questions they get right. And it's like a chain. It's like a chain thing. So the longer you ride, the more chances you get. But once you answer a question wrong, or you choose to get out, you'll either lose the money or you won't get out, and you take whatever money you've won, and it's great.
Man, if that was me, I'd try to be uber smart, and they're like, "Where are you going?" And I'll be in London. I'm like, "York, please." And just get them to.
But no, but you only get one shot at it. So if you get one wrong answer, it's kind of. But it was great because on there's a highlight clip, and it's really funny because the guy gets in, and he's doing well. I think he's answered like 2 or 3 questions at this point. He's like $300.
That's all right.
Or something. And then the guy says, "Oh, what is the name of animation that comes out of Japan?" And of course, we would say anime.
Yes,
logically. He goes, "Oh my god, I know this, hentai." the host just looks at the GoPro camera. He's like, "He said what?"
Oh god.
And he was, and it's just like, "No, sir, unfortunately that's the wrong answer. We'll have to let you out here." And he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, man." It's like, he said, "I've had a great time," blah blah blah. And it's just like, I remember seeing that clip, and I was dying of laughter going out to you.
Yeah, because it's weird.
Someone's not told him.
Oh no. Yeah, because I knew it was a different thing, and I knew it was an anime, but I didn't know it had an actual name, or I didn't know what the actual name was, so I just knew it as anime porn. But yeah, somebody said it the other day. So I work with a whole heap of doctors, and they're all really smart. And as I saw, the guy was like, "Oh yeah, such and such. My girlfriend's really into hentai," and he's like, "What's that?" He goes, "Oh, it's kind of like anime porn or something like this." This dude is probably mid to late 40s, and his girlfriend is into anime porn, and I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like,
hey, whatever floats
each their own, man."
Each their own.
Good on it. I don't get it. I'm still trying to get into anime, let alone now also find them sexy enough to actually watch them.
I was actually going to divert off this topic and try to say,
come on,
how is your anime journey? Have you watched any more Overlord yet?
I haven't had a chance.
Yeah.
Sorry, I told you I'm obsessed with these sticks.
Eating the bloody Stop eating those bloody stick things.
They're really nice.
I don't care. Wait until the podcast is finished.
I'm just obsessed now. I want to eat them. Well, yeah, no, I've still only watched the first, I think, 3 episodes. But I have been meaning to go back to them. I haven't really watched anything, to be fair. I've been crazy busy with the website. A lot of things have kind of come up. A couple of last-minute reviews have decided that they need them now rather than next month. So I've been feverishly just writing every night. But no, I've watched 3. I'm actually, like, it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, I have been meaning to get back to it, and I haven't been watching any other shows because I feel like I know that I want to watch that and just see what that's like. At least watch the first season.
From the first 3 episodes, you've kind of gone, "Oh, I'm quite are you enjoying it?" So
yeah,
far,
like I'm not hating it, and it's definitely a lot better than We Will Fight Now. And
20 episodes later, they finally fight. Yeah.
And I'm like, so it's not quite up there with the what should we say, the immense speed of Dragon Ball, and I like that it flows a little bit more. The voice acting is really good. I kind of like the storyline because obviously I am a World of Warcraft player.
Well, that's the reason why I kind of thought, as a good entry for you, given that you are a World of Warcraft lover, and likewise I was as well. It's kind of like, at the time, if this had been introduced to me when I was in my World of Warcraft days, it would have been all, obviously, I don't even think it was out then, but, it would have been all over it. I'd be like, "Oh my god, this is so good." Because, it's kind of that fantasy realm of, oh yeah, how cool would it be to be suddenly locked into your favourite MMORPG game?
Yeah, like the concept is great, and I do like it. And it was funny because when you sold me on it, and when you said the little synopsis, the funniest thing about it was that the synopsis was pretty much the first episode. Like, I was expecting like these things to happen and this, and it was just like dude sitting
drag
there.
It out.
Yeah. Jeff comes in and goes, "Yeah, just thought I'd stop by to say hello, and I haven't been here in years. You did a great job running the guild thing." And then all of a sudden you see the timer tick over, and then it's like, then it keeps ticking, and he's in the game. And I'm like, that's pretty much how Jordan described it. And then it was kind of like all these other things happening. I was like, so that synopsis was literally the first episode, where if this was Dragon Ball Z, that synopsis would have been 700 episodes in. So
Although I did find out the other day that someone did a series called Dragon Ball Kai, which is basically it took Dragon Ball Z, took away every single filler
remember, I
episode.
told you that. I said that
Yeah,
they did it on
I mean,
YouTube.
I wasn't aware of what it was until I actually saw it, and I was like, oh my god, this is so much better because it's like I think it's like 80 episodes long rather than 200 something
17,000,
long. I can't remember whatever it is, but yeah, it's like oh yeah, that's much more achievable.
Yeah, see, I didn't know they actually did that, but there was a dude on YouTube that did it, and that's why I was like, oh, that guy's cool. But
Yeah.
no, I've been crazy busy with the website. Funnily enough, Logitech has given me a few things, and then they've kind of gone, oh, we need them out ASAP. So hopefully those reviews should be out the next couple of weeks. And weirdly, as I sent Jordan, I won a camera.
Yeah, can I just say you're still a jammy bastard for that?
So there's a group on Facebook that I'm a part of that, so what happens is, depending on who's selling it and whatnot, what they will do, so the way it was introduced to me was there's 40 numbers and you choose a number. And what it might be is for every slot, it costs $30, $50, $70, depending on the price.
Yeah,
And then what happens?
I could probably explain this a little bit better. It's like a raffle. It's a raffle.
Yeah, pretty much. But you get to choose your
yeah,
number.
but it's a limited amount of slots, and every prize is different. And it's so normally if you buy a raffle ticket, it's $5 or whatever to get in, isn't it? Whereas this one is like there's a raffle. It's 40 slots. Each slot's worth $30 or $50, whatever, and depending on what the prize is, I have to say I haven't done one yet.
Did I send you that link? Did I send you?
Yeah, you sent me the link.
Yeah,
you sent
yeah.
me the link, and I've been on it, and I've been involved in, and I've seen, and there's nothing. I will probably bid on something that I really want and really need, rather than just bid. I see guys who are constantly on it, and constantly bidding, and it's like, look, I understand you want to maybe get this for free to resell. Because obviously you're paying $50 for an iPhone 11 potentially, or whatever you're on. But at the same time, it's like, why are you just throwing money at this?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is too, though, and so the way they're able to draw it, so it's not like a lucky generator or anything like that. What they do is, so say for example, I think we have Tats Lotto, I think 4 or 5 days a week here in Australia. So, like for example, on Tuesday and Saturday seem to be the big draw days. So once the slots are filled, then they ask for payment, so you don't actually have to pay until you do it. And then what happens is on a Tuesday, I think they use the Oz Lotto, and then on Saturday they use that, and I think Thursday sometimes they do Powerball. But what it is it's the first number that gets drawn out on that draw. So if it's the Tats Lotto, the first number that comes out might be, say, number 6. So whoever's picked number 6 wins the prize. But they have like iPhone 14s, they have TVs, fridges, they have Lego sets, they have all kinds of things. And one of the things that came up that I really wanted was this camera, and it's a Canon mirrorless. It's a mirrorless Canon camera, the M50 Mark II. Really great streaming camera, really good small camera. And I was like, screw it. So there was 30 slots in this one. I picked my lucky number, so number 13. On the 13th of September, weirdly, when it was drawn, and it came up. So when
13's looking for some.
Well, seriously, when it came up, I saw 13 in big letters. I was like, oh crap, that's the date. And then the number next to it was a 13. I was like, but that means I won. But that means I just got this camera for $35.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah. So expect a nice photos from you soon, because I'm so excited. Like I want to bring it.
I'm actually. I've got a macro camera that Ellie bought me years ago that I've used on and off, and I'm actually wanting to bring it to Tassie and get some beautiful photos.
Yeah, well,
I want to start using it now, sort of thing.
Well, the dude said he's hoping it should be here by our Tassie trip, so I'm hella excited because I want to play with it. And if not, and the worst thing is I got it sent to my work, which is good because there's always someone there, and because I don't know, there seems to be our post guy and couriers seem to not be able to come to the door because they have to actually walk down a path.
The audacity.
Well, so for those people that saw, I think it was last week or the week before, I had my my Dorks Down Under beanie. So I got one for Jordan, and I've been waiting on it, and I've just found out that it was meant to be delivered on the 12th, but now it's sitting around the corner at one of these things because the guy couldn't come here. I work from home on the 12th. Cherish is home 7 days a week. But for some reason, they couldn't walk all the way to my path. And I was like, Jesus. So I got it sent to my work. Also being in the CBD, chances are the mail gets there quicker.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed. So if not,
Fingers crossed. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm about to say, we're already. I'm about to say, my elf pile is getting steadily bigger. sort of things. I cracked open that Dominaria United box and got the Lanoir Loam speaker and stuff for you, sort of thing.
Oh,
So
yes.
I've got some. You're gonna have lots of elves to play with. Which is
I'm good
fine.
with that. I've actually got one of those, those little 10 bundles, and I've got
Yeah.
3 collector packets that I've got to open still.
Yeah, well, get them open and show me your stuff so I can steal something from you.
Yeah, I know. And then complain when I get like a Khan or something.
Oh yeah. Oh well, I did get. I mean, funny enough, just speaking and looking at it, I did get the fancy. Where you at? I don't know if you can see that on yours. I got the fancy foil alternative art card.
Oh, that's
Still
cool.
still not worth much, but I reckon.
Oh, really?
I reckon
Isn't it?
at the moment it's not. I've got a sneaking suspicion the next set that comes out.
Yeah, we'll have some
If
artifacts.
if it has some good artifact synergy in there, then I got a feeling the card's going to go from this price to this price. So I'm maybe picking up a couple cheap now, just for if it pays off big. I'm laughing. If it doesn't, then I've already
It's not
got
much.
2. So I'm not going to lose much, am I? So
Well,
I'm fine.
I must say though, those stained glass ones are absolutely gorgeous.
I do like the stained glass effect in this new set. It does look good.
Yeah.
Some stained glass looks better than others though. But
I think the lands is hands down my
lands are
favorite
gorgeous.
thing.
But the lands have all been done by the same artist, so they all look good.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas, of course, you have like artist A doing it, artist B doing it, and it's kind of you are aware of what stained glass looks like, right? So it's like you just go online, look it up. It's easy,
That was the weirdest thing. Yeah, because somebody opened a stained glass at the pre-release, and I'm like, is this stained red glass, or have they just kind of done like really thick outlines on the different elements?
Some of them do look really dodge.
Yes.
From a I might say the stained glass perspective, like it's a normal thing. But if you were to look up what stained glass is, it's like I can see where they've maybe gone from, because maybe not all, and the stained glass isn't it should be worldwide. Everyone should really know what it is. But maybe
to be fair,
some
though,
artists,
anywhere where there's
might
a
not.
church, they normally have them.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just kind of some of them is a bit weird. And sorry, I've got to get this fly because it's gonna what.
Oh, look, we got our first comment on this episode from Peter. So I'm so glad that joke carried, because I'm like, I can't remember what they're called in the UK.
Can't remember what called.
Is it Peter in the UK?
Peter what?
The animal cruelty.
Oh, you mean Peter? You mean the animal rights? You mean the douchebags? Yeah, I remember.
Oh, you said Peter. I mean Peter.
I mean Peter. Well, when you said Peter, I thought you meant Peter, the guy who was painting Warhammer minis.
Oh no! Fuck no!
You mentioned 2 Peter. Oh, you stop and go away. Fly. Although I'll tell you what, it's hilarious because like for my wife's birthday this year, I bought a rather large present because I had a big my bonus came through, and it was like, and she's wanted a digital piano for years.
Oh, that's cool.
So I bought her a digital piano. It was very nice, very nice of me, I think. But of course, she now feels obligated to make sure that my birthday, and because obviously I'm a Boxing Day baby, my birthday and Christmas this year is going to be good. So I've already started making a rough list of things that she said, I don't go mad, but if you can make it, and I said, yeah, I can make a list that's equal value of things, and that way I've given her a list of things I want because normally I don't.
he's made a list. He's made a list of Warhammer stuff, and he's like, "This is the value she thinks it is. This is the value that it actually is."
I mean, it's funny because one of the things that I've talked about ages ago, the box showed up, and I was like, "Oh, what could this be?" It's an assault rifle that shoots salt to kill flies and insects.
Where is it now, man? Go grab it. Kill that fly.
No, this thing's too small. But basically, it's like having the Halo rifle. It's really, and literally, it's funny because this company only does one product. So when it turns up, and I was like, oh, Elena's got a weird long box, and then it says bug assault on the side in massive stuff on both ends, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what this could be. It's just like, I hate this company. I just said
it is weird though, like, because if you do buy a present or something, like you'd think you'd be able to like with some companies you can tick a thing that says, oh, it's a present, and then
it's a present, i.e. send in blank or something. Yes, so that way it's not obvious what it is. Or even if you order from a company, they could be like, if you'd ordered from I don't know, Farmers or Bunnings or something like that, it could have been anything. it could have been anything. I'd be like, why she ordered from them? But it could have been anything at the same time.
It's embarrassing when his fleshlight rocks up. He's like, ah.
Oh, right. Anyway, should we go on to our main topic?
Why start now? We've been talking like I know. Technically, the podcast hasn't, but we've been chatting back and forth. So a lot of this will get cut out for half an hour. So why start now? We may as well.
So our main topic is what we're going to discuss is content creation. Now, the reason why we're going to bring this up is I've actually seen several people over this last month, maybe last couple of months, who are getting out of content creation, or they're mixing things up and stuff like this because some people have been unhappy with the lack of response that they're getting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And or the lack of engagement, or maybe a lack of collaboration with maybe the company that you're promoting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, I know that I wanted to bring this up as a discussion because I know that my son has already discussed future prospect jobs with me. And when he was little, it was fireman, spaceman. All the usual stuff.
What was the second
now,
one? Baseman.
Spaceman.
Oh, Spaceman. Sorry, I thought you said Baseman. I was like, what? He's just going to sit there and
he wants to be. He just wants to be playing bass all the time.
Yeah.
Of course, when we went to Armageddon, which is like a comic. It's a comic.
Yeah, we used to have we had that here for a little while. And then that kind of died out, and then I think it died out because of COVID, because they couldn't come over because it was a New Zealand team that ran it.
I think So
and now we've got Oz Comic Con.
He's like essentially it's Comic Con for New Zealand.
Yeah,
and it did go. I was aware that he was going over to Australia, and then it kind of stopped. And I figured it again. It was because of COVID, and it's like, but likewise, like Channel Fireball stopped.
Okay, if anybody can hear the rain in the background, I do apologise. It just started.
I can't hear it.
It just started pissing down.
No.
Okay, cool.
I can't hear it. Well, it's as you can see, beautiful sunshine here in New Zealand.
Yeah,
today.
it's gorgeous, man. The way it lights your cheeks is so adorable.
I know.
It's a natural light.
Fabulous. But yeah, so when we were there, he saw that where was it? The Waikato University were there because they have a very big esporting.
Yes, they do.
Degree and where you can promote yourself to be a player or a coach, a manager, and blah blah blah. And of course, since he's seen this, he's like, "Oh my god, I can study computer games as a thing."
Okay, can you tell me you can hear that?
No, can't hear anything.
Oh, because I can hear it. Like you can see it on my my microphone feed, and it's doing this.
So maybe you can't. So maybe on my one I can't.
Oh, okay, because it's teaming down. So I'm turning this down slightly while you're talking.
That's okay. So ever since then, he kind of wants to go into esports, possibly be a YouTuber and stuff like this, which is fine. Have no problem for it. But I'm very practical.
Yeah.
Essentially I went to university to study physics. Wasn't my first choice of degree. I wanted to do computer animation and stuff like that. Seeing the relevance, computers were getting bigger and blah 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 and so on and so forth, and I wanted to get into that industry back then.
Yeah.
Can't do it now because I've lost all that knowledge of coding and blah blah. That's gone.
Yeah.
Physics kind of came in and was like, no, go away.
Yeah.
Information is not needed. It's not relevant. So go away. So yes, I do have a physics degree, but I am not nerdy or intelligent. I have literally the passing mark. Because no offense, physics is a hard degree to pass.
I'm thinking of you now as like Sheldon Cooper with the whiteboard, working out quantum physics.
No, I enjoy physics. It was hilarious how I joined my course.
Okay, I'm turning this down
I wanted to go into nuclear physics because that was one interest I really had because it was high energy physics. Enjoyed all that stuff. Started my course, and then they decided to take that off the normal physics course and put it into astrophysics. And it's like, great, so how can I study it then? He went, oh, well, you're going to have to retrain for 2 years and pick up all these extra courses that you haven't done.
Oh.
No, thank you. I'm not spending 2 more years at university. I'm saying, can we not just do it as a year and I do just a year of all these extra courses? He went, no, you can't do it that way. Like, stupid. So anyway, obviously, although I didn't agree with doing physics at the time, I do see it's had good knock-on effects. Obviously, now that I work in quality and all that jazz. Once I got past the retail phase of working, throughout university, and then after university, working, being a retail boy, and not earning much, and then getting my first industrial job, and suddenly realized, oh my god, you get paid so much more for not as much work and not as many bad antisocial hours. It's like, why did I not do this years ago?
And not to mention, I'm earning so much more money now that 50% off isn't as bad as me paying full price because I can afford it more here.
I can afford it now. It's amazing. But yeah, so it's one of those things of, obviously, and then I started doing content. Obviously, that's fun. All right, okay. Did I have dreams and ambitions of being snapped up, becoming viral, and being a big internet sensation superstar for Magic the Gathering or for my Warhammer painting? Yes, of course I did. Who wouldn't want it? Who wouldn't want to suddenly get millions of followers and start earning a bit of coin off of YouTube? Who wouldn't want it?
Yeah,
100%. However, I realized very early on, I'd say probably after my first year of stressing and worrying and trying to make myself big, and realizing that Warhammer and Magic the Gathering are possibly very niche things.
Yeah.
Funnily enough.
Well, that's the thing.
And guess what?
And that's the thing too, though. Like with you with Magic and stuff, you think about it. You've gone, this is my topic, and even some this are actually so Squidmar. Do you watch Squidmar? So he's a miniature painter. He does this, and he's blown up over COVID. He's a Swedish painter that used to be into production design and photography and stuff.
Okay.
So what happens is he's started, and he's a phenomenal painter, and he pretty much did it because he was getting back into it while COVID, and then he did that. He now has 450k thousand subscribers, and he's trying to beat Warhammer. He's trying to beat Games Workshop this year. By the end of this year, he wants to have enough subscribers to be more than Games Workshop.
Yeah.
They only have 524,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And it's weird. You see this thing where this is pretty much the pinnacle of the game. Warhammer is massive, all this stuff, and here's a content creator that's going close to it. And
the same thing happened in Magic the Gathering with the professor. What is it? I think at the time, Wizards of the Coast or the Magic channel on YouTube was they had 1.2 million, and Prof was like, I'm at 1.1. Could I get more?
Yeah.
And so suddenly he did a bit of content just as a joke to say, look, I want to beat Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Can we do it? And of course he did. He smashed it because obviously the Prof's a very unique thing because the Prof's content was reviewing card sleeves and products that obviously, if you play any trading card game, you can you look at it on its merits.
Yeah.
Obviously it was geared at Magic.
Yeah.
But the fact is, a Yu-Gi-Oh player or a Pokemon player could easily look and go, actually no, those sleeves actually look pretty good. Oh yeah, actually no, that deck box, so.
Even when you think about it, football and basketball cards and things
that
are blowing up now, they could also go, well, we need sleeves for our thing. But I think that's the hardest thing is when you do go, my content is only going to be based on X.
Yeah.
Look at who the leader in X is, i.e. the company, Games Workshop, Wizards of the Coast, whoever it is, D&D, and then go, okay, so they've got 1 million, say, for example. That's probably going to be where you top out. When it comes with something for something what I do, which is more tech and gadgets and stuff like that, because there's such a vast things, whether it's keyboards, mouse, cameras, all kinds of different tech and stuff, it opens you up. So that's one thing that I was given advice for is they're don't be afraid to branch out.
Yeah.
Try not to be hyper-focused because if you're hyper-focused, there's always going to be that glass ceiling. And once you've hit that glass ceiling, it's whether you've got enough momentum to break through it.
It is one of those things of, so from so we'll talk in terms of content creation, so we're talking just purely YouTubing, no streaming. From that point of perspective, YouTube, right, obviously the rules changed when I was in it. So originally, I was monetized and all this because you had to have 400 subscribers at the time. And it was and I was 600 odd at the time. And when they changed the rules, they said, all right, now you're going to have 1,000. It's oh my God, it's just getting to 400 to be monetized was quite a slog. And I had to use some dirty tricks, running giveaways. Obviously, I'd get products or whatever.
Creating 400 email addresses.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't that day of a trick. But the fact is that, of course, you could easily get a spike in subscribers by
Yeah.
running a giveaway, because people will sign up to your thing and do what you need to do for free, and they won't untick it because it's like,
Yeah.
they never go back and untick it, and if they only get unticked because YouTube have done an update, and suddenly, oh, you've lost 100 subscribers overnight. It's like, why? And it's like, oh, because they did an update. It's like, oh, well, great, they've still not fixed that bug that unsubscribes
Yeah.
so many of you.
I found that a few times. I found that actually happened to me with numbers, where at one point then he's like, because I wrote him a comment, and he's like, "Are you not subscribed to me?" I was like, "Bro, as soon as I met you, I subscribed to you, and I subscribed to the creators and all the thingos." And then I went back in, and I'm like, I haven't subscribed.
It's like MP numbers is. I think he resubscribed to me about, I think it was like 8 months ago or something. I'm like, hang on, you were subscribed, and it's because I realized, oh, it's the YouTube bug again. But yeah, so from a YouTube perspective, I mean, if you obviously, the glass ceiling is whatever you want them to do. There is a glass ceiling, and getting past it is impossible a lot of the time. And if you're doing a very niche thing like Magic the Gathering, for example, or Warhammer in whatever capacity you want, it is really hard because these are super niche things. I mean, are they popular around the world? Yes. The problem is though is that probably Magic the Gathering is probably. I mean, if I was to maybe be possibly a Spanish content creator and spoke Spanish, I might be able to get more because you'd have maybe dual language on it and stuff like that. I know, like that's what Mr. Beast does with all his videos. He has they reshoot the video and then he gets it dubbed into all the different languages. Yeah. And it gets vetted and blah 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 and stuff like that. So so suddenly this video is going more viral because of course it's got its different dubs in Spanish and stuff like that.
Which
it's
is
all
good.
Different channels.
Which, I mean, to be fair, if you've got Mr. Beast style money.
Yes, of course. Yeah, no. I mean, obviously he had certain. Obviously he was on it when YouTube was young. Very different place than it is now because everybody can.
Well, I was watching. It's funny that you bring up Mr. Beast. About 2 days ago, on I think it was on Facebook or Instagram or something. There's a video that popped up, and he says that he might earn between $4 to $6 million a month. But then what he does is he just rolls it into the next month. And he's like, we have razor thins. Like if we have a bad video, it will affect what we've got planned for the next month, because of the fact that they work on these razor thin thingos. Like when he does his Mr. Beast store, where it ends up being that he buys out an entire shop and then opens a store and then sells everything for $1.
Yeah.
And but it was weird listening to him, and he's like, it's weird. He goes, I don't have like Ferraris or something. He goes, I splashed out the other year and I bought a Tesla. And then he goes, and I kind of moved to a bigger house, but mainly because of security reasons, because my house got told out and because it's quite a small suburb and stuff. It was very easy to find. But he's like, but other than that, he goes, he doesn't live lavish. He goes, because I realized too, though, that things don't make me happy. And to think of somebody from that, like that kind of, the person that makes that kind of money, that recreated pretty much the entire Squid Game thing, just to give away the, whatever it was, $500,000.
Yeah, it was something like that. But I mean, obviously, he lives on a separate world and play. I mean, the fact is, it's like the Sidemen are big because, of course, they're a big group and they work together and stuff like that. And they do these weird online videos, but they get the sponsors in because they've got this big audience, and it works for them. And whereas like Magic the Gathering doesn't really have, probably the biggest grouping I would say in like the Magic YouTube community is probably the Command Zone for game nights. That's probably the biggest one I can think of off the top of my head.
And I think they've done.
What's the guys? The Canadian group.
I don't know them that
much.
Who
did all the skits, and I can't remember their
name. I think they're coming to PAX actually, and I can't remember their name, but I know who you're talking about. But
Graham Stark.
Yeah.
Graham Stark, and he's.
I don't know.
Tap Concede is their main Magic the Gathering talk podcast bit.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember.
Loading, ready, run.
Yes. Oh, how did we not know that?
Thank God we got there. I swear to God, because that would have been rattling round in my brain for the rest of the podcast.
Up comes the video. A few moments later. He's like,
a few moments later.
I got it. But no, it is. But and I do think that a lot of these YouTubers that have been hyper-focused on X or Y, I think what they kind of have to do is they learn that the people like them for their personality, they like those style of videos, but a lot of them will have second and third ones where they try to spread out. I think that's what happens is when you kind of reach that glass ceiling, you need to be open to change. And at the end of the day too, though, there are going to be people that are going to just love you sitting there painting a miniature, say, for example, or playing some games. But I think with it is, it's about being diverse and it's about understanding where things are going. And I know for several people that I know that have come and gone off YouTube and things like that, they've got this passion for X and that's all they concentrate on. But then when other things happen or when different things are happening, they're not willing to diverse. They're like, no, this is what I know. This is what my supply, this is what my people do. And I think you've got to be afraid of, yes, you've got all these subscribers and yes, it may pee off some of them, but some of them are there for you. Like, to be fair, like, for example, like I can watch Jordan, say, for example, because I like the person he is, I like the content he makes. And if he decides that he's going to paint miniatures or if he's going to review a keyboard that he got or something like that, chances are I'm still going to watch it because A, it's something that interests me, but B, it's because I have attachment to him. And I think that's what people need to realize is that quite often it's less based on the content and more based on the person. And we're seeing that trend in YouTube, which is why so many people that were doing tech or skits or something like that, quite often it's about them.
I think the other issue is that one thing that a lot of people don't realize, the fact is that, you know, I'm one of many content creators.
Yeah.
It's like because obviously, like when I was in UK, you know, I was kind of we had like the UK MTG thing that we hashtagged together, or me, Total MTG, Pleasant Kenobi, you know, we all kind of talked very openly together.
Yeah.
And we sort of said, oh, well, I'm going to be doing something like this coming up. And, you know, we had a big Twitter group chat. And we talked on there, and we were very open. And, you know, and it wasn't like we're all sniping each other or doing anything like that. You know, it was
Jordan's like, Prof's doing a sleeve thing. Going to do some sleeves.
Yeah, but no, we were all very open and very positive and talking about X, Y, and Z quite easily because sort of thing. Because the fact is, we all realised that, oh, well, Channel Fireball are going to get in touch with us at some point. And they did. You know, they did I think it was the first one we did was Birmingham GP, and we all went together, and we all had... You know, we all had a thing. We had games where people could play us, and we all promoted each other and said, "Oh my god, yeah, he's bringing this jank deck. Oh my god,
yeah, go play him. You'll win packs for sure.
Bring this deck. This is my deck list that'll smash it and stuff like that. You know, we had this little common rivalry, you know, and stuff like that, and it was all good fun. And then when obviously I was moving down here, I thought, well, I want to try and do the same thing down here with whoever the New Zealand group is. And you get here, and it's like, no, there's no one. There's like, there's a couple of online stores. Like my LGS has a YouTube channel, and there's another couple of ones, but there's no dedicated. And I was like, hang on, am I the biggest dedicated Magic Gathering YouTuber now in New Zealand? I thought that's weird.
Yeah.
I actually put it up, and Pleasant Kenobi was like, has to move to another country just to secure the number one spot. And I was like, shh.
But it is like,
You know?
like I'm seeing that too. Like, obviously, guys that we did the creator series with, people that I've met over the years, you do find that there does seem to be this trend of you get the 10 or 15% that seem to keep going and pushing, and then the other ones that seem to dissipate. And that's one thing that we need to remember too, guys, is that there is going to be some money involved. Like, chances are you're going to spend a lot more money than you're making, especially when you're starting out. Obviously, as you get bigger, you'll be given stuff and things like that. But also, too, though, like if I get given, like, say, for example, I got given this bundle of Dominaria United. That's cool. I've had to write a piece on it. I've had to do that. But that also doesn't pay the bills. Like, for example, like I've got 3 lights here. I've got cameras. I've got microphones and things like that.
Yeah.
And we've got to make sure that we do this. And there are a lot of things out there where we can get cheaper things or do it. And I would say, personally, what I would say is when you first start out, just don't be afraid. Give it a go, because at the end of the day, like, you look at Jordan's first video, you look at my first article, you look at don't look at my first videos. That's what I'm saying. Please. But then you look at, even like, for example, you look at Mr. Beast's first video and things like that. They're going to be horrible.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be grainy as hell. The lighting's going to be off. But you need to learn. And as Jordan said, these groups where you can join with other content creators and talk freely and stuff like that, these are great help, because they'll be like, I picked up this cheap light, say from Walmart or Bunnings or something, that's actually this cool, it's actually like a work light, but the good thing about it is it's got this and it's got that. And like, for example, there's a light in Bunnings. If I can remember, I'll put the picture up. But what it is actually a work light, and it actually splits around.
Yeah.
But what it also does is you can also connect it, so it looks like this long kind of lightsaber. But because it's metal, because it's got magnets on the side, what you can actually do is bend down and you can stick it to, say, for example, your computer thing, because the magnetic will stick to it, and then you'll have a long light bar that goes across here. And there's little tricks and things that people have picked up over. Some of them are going to be great. Some of them are going to be janky and horrible as hell. But when you do decide, I want to go into this industry, don't try to make everything perfect for scale. Like even with, for example, with this podcast, like as you can see, we made the frames. We're trying to make as professional thumbnails and stuff. But though this is only 6 episodes in, you've got to remember that Jordan and I probably have almost 15 years experience between us.
Yeah.
So right. We're able to call on some of that to try to help. And that's what I think with a lot of people, they forget, where they say, for example, they'll watch like their Mr. Beast, they'll watch their Logan Paul and be like, oh, why doesn't my videos look like that? Because they're not. A lot of these people have professional editors, have professional artists, have all these things. So just if you are going to get into content creating, do it and have a passion about it.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say is that, I mean, I've spoken, because when I've done streaming back when I was streaming all the time, people would say to me, oh, how do I get into it and all this jazz? And it's like, I'll tell you now, if you want to make money off playing Magic the Gathering, get to the Pro Tour. That's the only place you're going to get it, because doing it for YouTube is not a moneymaker. Oh my God, is my first video is... Oh my God, that thumbnail is ridiculous. 2015, October 7th. And it is the Battle for Zendikar Fat Pack back when it was Fat Pack opening.
Oh, that was my nickname back in the day.
33 views on that video. Yeah. 33 views, even now. My first comment was on my third video.
But yeah, but it is like that. There are going to be times where, like, we released our first one, and I obviously posted on a few things, and we got about 30 or 40 watches, I think it was, or views on the first episode. And I think that's mainly because obviously I posted a few times, Jordan posted it, so a few of our friends obviously watched it. But it does take time and traction, and they do say, especially when you're starting a new one, that it can take 2 to 3 months just for the algorithm to kick in. And I think
also don't expect like love from the company you're promoting as well.
No.
The amount of times that I've seen people get annoyed because the game they're promoting or something like that, and the people who develop it or whatever, or the person who makes the product, won't send them stuff for free. It's hilarious. And it's just like, look, they're not obligated to reward us. It's the way things are, you know.
And that's the thing too. Like, I think what I come with, like the way that I've started my website. Like, my website will cost probably about, and this is honest, probably between $250 and $300 a year just for hosting. Then there's the design. There's a few other factors. It's not too bad, but I'm on a basic deal. And to be fair, though, I'm thinking pretty soon I'll have to upgrade it because I'm running out of room on it. But when you think about that, that's all passion. Then I've got to make sure that media releases are sent. I've got to make sure reviews are done, all this stuff. And you've got to do it in a way that you've got to realize that this comes from passion. I haven't earned a cent from my website, and that's honest. I've earned a few bucks from Patreon, I think. I think I make about 14 or 15 bucks, and I think it's honestly because people have forgotten to take me off. But like, I think what we need to realize though is it's about passion. And I think that's what you need to think. Don't get me wrong, fame and fortune may come. Yeah. And if it does, great. But that is a byproduct of sharing your passion. So for example, like I've got a pile over here of stuff. Jordan may be able to see it in the corner of his, but I think I've chopped it out here. But there are board games, there's tech there.
Just about.
There's stuff that I've got that over 7 or 8 years of relationships I've built. When I first started, I was doing board games. I was doing print and plays where I'd have to go down to Officeworks or to the local printer, and I would have to print them out, and then I'd have to get friends over and we'd play from pieces of paper. And it is a slow build to get stuff for free. Like, I'm getting stuff for free now, but even then, it's not heaps.
even then, you're not. I mean, it's not like that someone's sending you a full brand new gaming setup for you to use and keep. Is it? And
No, but like I get like I
sometimes
think
you're getting stuff and you got to send it back.
yeah. So like the good thing like with monitors and laptops, often what you do is you review them and you send them out. Mouse and keyboard, it depends on the company. So for example, Logitech are amazing. So shout out to Logitech. They'll send me keyboards and stuff, and I can keep. This mic that I'm using is Rhodes, who's an Australian company, amazing mics, and that's genuine. That's not just because they gave me this. But it does take time to build up. Like for example, Rhodes, I've been doing this. I only got in with Rhodes about 6 to 8 months ago because I just couldn't get in with them before. There have been times where with Logitech, I do a review, I get another thing, I do a review, I get another thing, and then it kind of dropped off when somebody left. And it's all about relationship building. And I think that if you're going to come into this and expect, I'm just going to get free stuff from day one, it's never going to happen.
No, I mean, from Wizards of the Coast, I mean, I think I've received, I could probably, off the top of my head, probably about less than 10 times I've gotten stuff from them. Sometimes the last couple of years since I've been in New Zealand, I've gotten product for appreciation because, you know, there isn't a huge love for Magic down here in New Zealand. So it's like, you know, I get like, I've gotten a couple of holiday cards, which is lovely of them to send.
Yeah.
You know, so they say, oh, would you like one? I'm like, yes, please.
Of course I do. They're amazing.
It's, you know, it's great, fabulous. You know, if people are saying, oh, well, we sell them. No. They're mine. These are, you know, it's little appreciation card. If I was doing it for selling on, God forbid, I'd be like, no, could I have a judge rare instead? You know, which will never happen.
But I think that's a good thing. Like, I mean, yeah, like if you do open, like if you do happen to be in Magic the Gathering, if you do happen to be in say 40K or in tech, technically yes, you can sell off stuff. But I always feel bad doing that because I feel like I've been given this to review and then to sell it off seems a bit dodgy. But I know I won't lie. That's me personally. I know people that do. I know people that open packs of cards that sell those cards because they don't like it. And I do think too, though, there is a massive difference. Like talking to some, like I wrote for an American site in America. It was a board game site called Everything Board Games before with the old owner. The new owner's taken over and bit shit, but we won't say anything. But like for him, he could get games almost every week without fail. Like being in America. And probably in London as well, it's probably a lot better as well, is that you used to be able to turn over, like he used to be able to get games every week. I tend to find when I was in Australia and I'd let them know that I'm in Australia, you wouldn't get as much. But there's games in America that like at one point then I was writing probably 50 board game reviews a year, so almost one a week. And of that, I reckon maybe a quarter to half were probably print in place. The other were the companies that would send them, or there was some companies that said, oh, would you mind paying shipping?
Yeah.
So there was,
which can be very expensive down this end of the world. Yeah.
The good thing is a lot of those companies do remember that, so they also do that. And then obviously what they'll do is when they're doing the big send out of their game from a Kickstarter, they will then send you an actual copy of it for free without paying shipping. So that's kind of cute. So it's kind of nice. Or you'll just get like, say for example, like an envelope this size with all the cards and all the things shoved into it. And then they'd send like this little packet like this, where when you see other reviewers, they've got this fancy box and all this stuff.
Fancy box, the personalized label. They just look like
and that's the thing, and that's the thing that I found with content creating is if you enter it from passion, and you show that you're passionate and you do have something to offer, I do think that you can be successful. To an extent.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it for fame and fortune, that's the whole reason you're getting into it, because you're hoping I don't have to work, I can just sit at my computer and play video games. Chances are it's probably not going to happen.
Well, I think, we'll talk about the other side of obviously things, which is obviously playing video games for a living, which is probably live streaming. Now, I'll tell you now, I've tried live streaming, and I believe you did for a while with Warcraft.
Yeah, I did alright actually. I did it during COVID. I was off for I think 9 or 10 months, and I did it for that whole time.
I think it's one of those things with what I find with live streaming is that you have to dedicate probably at least 3 hours minimum for a stream.
Yeah.
Anything less than that, it's kind of people drop in and out, but no one's really paying attention for like really short streams. Like people want at least a 3 hour stream minimum, which is hard. And I know it sounds like first world problems that, oh my God, I got to play a video game or video games for more than 3 hours, but it is a drain.
Because
sitting there and talking. Because the problem is, it's not like you can sit there and just as you normally do.
That'd be sick. Where you're just like,
The problem is you just got to sit here, you got to do that, and you've got to interact and talk, and it's fine. Like, on the podcast, I don't mind doing I'll happily hello camera. I'll happily sort of look at my cameras and talk to people now.
Yeah.
This is easy because I'm just chatting away.
And I think
I'm
the
not
also
having
thing
to
is though is
cower
there's
and-
somebody there and there's feedback. Where with some people too though, like I know for a fact when I was streaming the first 1 or 2 streams, there was like one person there, or I think numbers dropped in and then just had me going in the background. And often they're not listening, but you have to constantly be on, because if somebody comes into your stream and you're doing this,
Yeah, no, exactly, because
you're not going to grab them.
You've got to keep talking, and it's really hard.
Yeah, like I was
such a hard skill to do, and it's one of those funny things of, again, and you've got to be entertaining to the point of where you're like, don't expect you're going to get donations immediately. No. A lot of people, it's hilarious that they think, oh, I'll start live streaming, start earning money, job done, and they have. You end up seeing them having a rant of, why is no one donating to me? It's like, no one's obligated to give you.
Yeah, and that's the thing you've got to realize. Like you might see, like you might drop into like a Ninja stream or to one of these big guys, and they're constantly getting subscribers. Thing is that doesn't happen. Like that's not normal. Like when I did it, I was lucky that I had numbers and food time that came in, and then occasionally they would play with me as well when I was playing World of Warcraft. Yeah. But World of Warcraft is as Magic the Gathering, as 40Ks, it's very niche. So not everybody, and it's not.
World of Warcraft is a lot bigger than
it is
Magic the Gathering.
It is, and
D&D and all that jazz.
It is true, but it is also. It's not also the most interesting game to watch. Like if I'm watching like a Fortnite stream where people are trying to kill each other, or if I'm watching like Overwatch or a game that's just come out, like that kind of gets as cool. But what I would also say is consistency is key with that. Like I was doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 o'clock till midnight, 1 o'clock. And that's what I would do. So I do a 5-hour stream, 4 to 5 hour stream, depending on the amount of people that were in and different things like this. And got super lucky that a friend of mine who I've known for probably 20 years now, Galaxy, ended up raiding me because she noticed I was on and thought it was funny, and raided me with like 70 people. And I was really lucky that I made affiliate after 6 days. Yeah. But doesn't always happen.
I've jumped around on live streaming, so I can probably give a very good aspect. First off, I started off on Twitch because Twitch was the go-to. Job done. However, Magic the Gathering and even either Magic the Gathering Online or playing Magic Arena is so a niche thing that not a lot of people watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, probably people go on because their streamer is on or their YouTuber is doing it. Yeah. And I would do everything right. I would announce, I'm scheduled, I'm going to play this date, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But the problem is the audience. I just didn't have a big enough audience, and thinking that I could do it straight away, I'm going to get big, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It just doesn't work.
See, my thing was different.
I would say live streaming, though, I would say it as well, is that you have to do probably at least 3 days a week.
Yeah, 100%.
Regardless of what platform you're on. Like YouTube, no. So YouTube doesn't give me any guidelines. If I want to stream on YouTube, great. They don't say I have to do it X amount of times. Twitch say that you have to do it at least 3 times a week, different days, and for X amount of hours. And it's just like, oh my God. Yeah. It's like Thursday's my free night, or, Monday and Wednesday is my free night. But you say I have to do it on Monday and Wednesday one week, and then Tuesday and Thursday the next, or wherever, to make affiliate. It's like, come on. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Because I got lucky because I think I was streaming for about 5 hours, 5.5 hours. Because it was COVID, I didn't have to sleep, so that was good. And my housemate would go to bed about 7:30. I'd hop on at 8, and then I would do that. And luckily, obviously, Galaxy also rated me, which made my average viewers go up to about 60, which was insane. But the whole reason I did it, and the whole reason I started it, was because I found that I was focusing so much on the content creating of my website, focusing on social media, that I didn't have time to actually have a break. So my excuse was, I'm going to stream because that way then I lock away 4 or 5 hours a week to play video games.
To not do content, yeah. Although you are doing content, but you're not doing...
But for me, it wasn't. It was more me, I'm going to play, and it gives me an excuse to do that. And then often when Numbers or Food Time or Andy would actually play with us, it was me just chatting with them, and we just happened to be on stream as well. But it is hard, and that was the hardest thing, was just playing, you don't get anything. what I found too, though, was having certain nights. So, for example, on a Friday, I would have a chilled stream where I found this website that actually said, these are the mounts you need to get. These are the mounts you still haven't got. Here's how you do them. So you'd actually go 1, 2, 3, and you'd go to all these different areas and they tell you in order so that you could follow it really well and go for mounts. So Friday night was mount hunting. When I eventually joined a guild, Monday was raid night, which was insane. And it's full on. And it used to always get some good views. Mount hunting used to. And then Wednesday was more just a free for all. And Wednesday was one of my slowest nights. And I knew that. But it was
shock horror because people are playing. I mean, when the last tail end days when I was playing Warcraft was, funnily enough, I was running around trying to grab mounts. And for no particular reason. It's just like, I want to start completing off a collection in the background.
And that's pretty much what I was doing. And I got super lucky in regards to, and I know Food Time was like, you bastard, but there was a few mounts that I got like second and third drop. So there was one where I was just like, I got a few, like, the dragon that's all made of stars in Pandaria?
No way.
I got that drop too. So I had a little app that used to count, and it used to count it. Oh, trust me, Food Time. I don't know if Food Time had it or if Cultist, his partner, has it, and he didn't, or the other way.
I can't even tell you. I lost count. I can't even tell. That's not even funny, Des. Second time. And you know what I got too? I got the pet and I got the dragon all at the same time. And the funniest thing was when I did it, like I went bananas. I was like, yeah! And I'm screaming. I woke my housemate up, so she wasn't too excited about the mount as much as I was. Oh, was she not? I can imagine so.
And I was happy as crap because what happened was then what I was able to do is bring out, I think it was a pug or a little puppy or something, but it was like a little star pug. And I thought I got the pet. So I was well excited because I bought out this pet and I'm like doing this. And then I hear Food Time's like, you limey bastard, this, that, and the other. I was like, it's just the pet, but who cares? And I'm walking around and I'm talking. So I spoke about this pet for like 15 minutes, how excited I was. And then eventually I hear the ding of somebody getting on my Discord and it's Food Time. And Food Time's like, dickhead, open your bag. So I opened my bag and he's like, see that purple item? Double click on that. I double clicked on that and it came up. And I was like, wait, what? I got something else. I said, I've already opened the pet, and I double clicked on it and I mounted up and I'm like, oh my God. So there's a video out there of me spending like 15 minutes talking about getting this pet and showing the pet and running around with it and being a bit of a twat with this pet, only to realize that I had the mount as well. But yeah, it has a counter that actually used to say, you've tried this like 116 times. Yeah. You've got the average is like 2,000. But yeah, I got it on number 2.
I'm glad I didn't have that app when I was doing all that crap, because some of the runs, man, I could recite certain runs off the top of my head. Or literally at the time I was like, yeah, right, do this, run there, and literally I could have done it like asleep.
Yeah.
Because I used to be, when I was in Warcraft, because whenever I had a Warcraft phase, because I stopped the addiction cold turkey at one point because it was so bad, but I'd go in phases, and like when there was special Halloween events or Christmas events on,
Valentine's.
I was the guy setting timers to wake up in the night to log on, and I'd leave my computer in sleep mode. I was that guy. I was that guy grinding out every opportunity I could to maximize it, and then getting like 4.5 hours of sleep for the day. But to be fair, it was, when I first started university, it was helpful because I had insomnia in my first couple of years.
Yeah, so it helps.
I wouldn't sleep for a couple of days, and it was a great way to pass the time when you cannot sleep. Of playing this massive multi-online play, you sit there and you're playing, and then it's like, night, Jamie, who's my housemate, and he's like, morning, Jordan. It's like, oh, it's morning. Great, fabulous.
Lovely. Let's go get some scones.
Okay. That's 10 hours. That's 10 hours gone. Great, fab.
But that's the thing when it comes to streaming as well, is that I think like there are a lot of variety streamers. The good thing about variety streamers, you are going to get people that follow you for certain games. If you focus on one game, it can be a bit niche. But if it's something that you've found where there's highlights, like mount hunting's a good one for that. Or if you're, for example, Fortnite, you can have different things where you might have like, if you donate $2, you can tell me to drop all my weapons or use this skin. And what you want to do is try to get as much involvement as possible, and also try to make it as entertaining. There needs to be more highlights than lowlights is what the idea is.
I know that variety streamers, the one complaint that they have is that until all the big ones have come out and said the same thing, is that the startup cost of being a variety streamer is so difficult, because the problem is you've got to follow where the trends of games are going. So like Sea of Thieves drops, everyone's playing Sea of Thieves, right? I've got to go buy Sea of Thieves, blah, 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 and do this and do that. But things can turn in an hour. So
Yeah. Well,
suddenly, no, this game anymore. Everyone's on this one. It's like, oh, for God's sakes! And so you got to drop everything and get a new game downloaded.
It is. It's 100% true. And I like. It was funny because we got Fall Guys at PAX, the last PAX it was in 2019. And I remember saying to Doug, who's the guy, I'm like, bro, this is going to be a hit, 100%. I'm like, if you can get the ball rolling and you can get a full, like, if people don't have to wait long for a game, people are going to love this because it's ridiculous, this, that, and the other. And I remember when Fall Guys dropped, it'd been out about a week and a half, and it was going bananas. Like you couldn't, like there were streamers that I knew for only one game, but they were playing Fortnite. They were playing Fall Guys.
Yeah.
I even think myself, Numbers, and Food Time actually jumped on and played Fortnite played Fall Guys for a bit.
Fortnite in the brand, bro.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, played Fall Guys, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's fun. Like, and people can get involved. You can invite your community. This game feels like it's a perfect stream game, and even now, you still see people play it. Like, even if it's just a bit of fun, or if they're having like a community day. And I knew it was going to be bananas, and 100% it was. But it's hard those things where you've got to watch the trends, and if you're a little bit late to the trend, or if you're or you hold on to that trend a little bit too long, there's that tumble.
Yeah, but to be fair, with Fall Guys, I mean, I obviously saw the appeal straight away, and it was great. But it was funny how I thought, why hasn't this been released as free? Like, because they've done it now.
Yeah.
Now you can get the game for free. And if you want all the extras, like Fortnite, if you want all the extras, you got to pay. Great. Yeah. The fact is that I think the Fall Guys would have been bigger and even better if they'd just gone free to download, but if you want all the extra skins, if you want this, then microtransaction, do that one. Whereas Among Us was clever, because Among Us was, oh no, you got to pay, but it's like less than $20.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, I'll buy that. It's like, you're not talking $50 to $100.
Yeah, I know. And then additional things.
But God forbid, it's so good. Like, you jump onto Among Us and you're like, all right, so hang on, so you get on friends with you get on Discord with your friends, and suddenly it's about social and political gaming. It's like, okay, this is a bit new, but suddenly it's like you're amazed at how you get into it, and you're like, how can I be devious without sounding like I'm being devious?
Yeah.
And I was upstairs. I was up in vents and up in doing electrics and all this, and I was I've been with so-and-so this entire round and I've done anything, knowing full well that your teammate's been running around killing everyone. It's like, no, that's it. And he's like, oh yeah, I vouch for Jordan. He's been with me the entire. Honestly, could have offed me at any point of this last 5 minutes that we've been together.
Yeah. But and that's the thing though, and I think that's what it is with like the good thing I've noticed now with a lot more variety streamers is they've kind of gone, rather than trying to trace the trends, I really enjoy, say for example, survival games or first person shooters. So they're going to play first person shooters. So they'll have their base game, say it be Overwatch, say it be Call of Duty, and then when the new thing comes out, they will play that a bit, but they'll always have one night that goes back to there. Like Flaming Scott, a friend of mine, he loves survival games. So he's a variety streamer, but he only plays survival games. And I think that's where you need to find where, like, for example, like Wizards of the Coast, like Magic, like Warhammer, you need to have your niche, but maybe not have it so narrow. Have it more like, my niche is these games.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I remember, obviously, we're talking a while ago now, this is when I was at university, when Warhammer Online was out. And it's really, did you ever play that?
I still haven't played I've only played like 6 games of Warhammer.
No. So Warhammer Online was like World of Warcraft, but it was set in the Warhammer universe. It was Warhammer Fantasy.
Oh no.
It was called, what was it? It was Warhammer Age of Reckoning. That's what it was called.
Oh no, yeah, I've seen that actually. I haven't played it, but I've seen it.
It's dead now. It's they shut down the servers, and I believe, and all that jazz. But the problem is that it was really quite good. But the problem was it wasn't quite Warcraft. Obviously, Warcraft was not as good graphics and all that jazz. It was. But the problem is that Warcraft obviously had all this legacy and all this build up, and so you could do lots of different things in an area. Whereas this one looked amazing, and it was great, but it was limited in what you could do in certain areas, and you kind of was really, you felt really repetitive to get XP. Whereas, as you know, with Warcraft, you walk into the pub. Oh, here's 10,000 XP. Oh, great! It's like fabulous. It's like they give you so many opportunities to do things.
Oh, hang on. I don't know if you can hear that.
God, what's that?
That's the hail. So it just started hailing.
No, sorry. You're on my end. Your mic went really off then.
Oh no, my mic right.
Speaking about half a second into the future.
Oh no, my mic is going bananas right now because it's just started hailing outside. So if you can hear this in the video, I do apologise.
Well, you might be fine on my end. Worst case scenario, we're using my footage for you.
Oh man, I hope so because right now you can see the bar just doing this, and I'm like, that's not a good sign.
But no, So I would say, with live streamers, I've already explained to Edward that I've been doing YouTube and I've tried live streaming, and guess what? We're not rich.
Yeah.
He has this idea. He has this beautiful idea that maybe that he's going to do this. And I said, look, you do what you want. Do gaming as a hobby. If you do live streaming, and then if it takes off, great. Everybody's happy because at least then you've not, don't get me wrong. If he comes to me with a business plan that he wants to do the Waikato University esports degree, I'll consider it. I'll hear him out. I will, but I want to hear that he's not just going to try and play games.
Yeah, and that's the thing though, and like I've been lucky enough to be friends with some esport guys. Like the guys from Kenga Esports have been friends of mine for ages, and people are like, "Oh, that's cool, you get to play games." But like for example, they went to what was it called? It was in Atlanta, and it's pretty much they play Paladins, which is kind of like a Fortnite kind of esque style game. And I love Paladins. I've always liked it. And then I met them because I liked it, and they were the Australian champions. And they actually got invited to Atlanta. And you're like, oh, that's cool. Literally what they did is, so they bought a house. So they got a shared house. The entire lounge room was just 5 computers. There was actually 10 computers because they have a few substitutes and stuff. They have a professional chef that cooks for them. And literally for 18 hours a day, they play the same 5 maps that they're going to play at the tournament. So this is, don't get me wrong, and as they said, they go, this is a game that I love, that I'm a professional at, but you're literally playing the same 5 things and you just keep going for 18 hours, and it's all about technique, like saving half a second here, doing this, learning a few techniques. It's a lot more than what people realise. It's not just as simple as playing games. And it's the same with a lot of streamers. Like with streamers, you have to be video editors, you have to be graphics, you have to be social media managers, you have to do this. With content, it's not just as simple as I'm going to make a video, press record, film it, and then put it on YouTube and I get millions.
Oh, yeah. No. There's editing, which is making it look good, number 1. Audio balancing, number 2, and that's probably, I would say that's actually number 1 realistically. And the amount of times it's hilarious how the amount of times I've released a video and all the audio settings on my end and 95% of people's end is great. There's always these few people who go, why can you not speak louder? It's like, dude, I am like on the boundary of maxing out my audio. Turn up your speaker because it's not my end. And if it was my end, I guarantee you my comments would be flooded. There's always that one guy who goes, oh god, it's so quiet. I like the gameplay, but it's so terrible and quiet. It's
and that's the thing too, though. And just remember, you are going to get people complaining no matter what you do. Like obviously we had episode 4 or 5 that our audio wasn't great. But if you think about this,
we were more livid about it than anyone else.
I know, we were both dark on each other. We're like, fucking shit. And then he checked his and I checked my video. I was like, crap, it's just the video. But if you think about it, so for this podcast alone, Jordan came to us probably, 3-4 months ago about it? Give or take?
So it must be about 3 months ago.
Yeah,
is it 3 months?
About 3 months ago. So
Jesus.
So the first thing is we discussed it. We talked about obviously names and what we wanted to do.
Hang on. We didn't talk. I slid into your DMs and buttered you up a little.
Yeah, I know. It was the
What-
dick pic
what-
that
what's
just
going
brought
on
me
with that
over the
other
line.
podcast? What's going on with that podcast that you were up to? Oh well, no, it's not really doing anything anymore. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, so you're free? Brilliant! I want to do this.
But like even that's what I'm saying. Like, so we came up with the idea, then we brainstormed names, we came up with names, then we obviously spoke about and planned like different graphics, different ideas for logos and stuff, and then I actually ended up taking it to one of my friends who's a graphic designer. Shout out to Zach, he's amazing. But he ended up doing it for us and tidied it up. Then from there we made overlays, we planned colors, we planned all these things. We also did several like test streams just to see if the overlay would work. So it took
about 6 weeks of testing. And color. Oh, orange. I don't get me wrong. Orange is my favorite color. I hate orange now because the amount of oranges we.
Yeah, I won't lie. Yeah, we are very orange, but that's the thing though.
It's like, this orange looks good, but it's a bit more brown than yellow. It's like, God's sake, I don't care. It's orange.
Yeah.
I don't just pick orange.
Well,
orange.
Well, you know what I always do. I always have. So I've got one that's about this big that I literally put into my Photoshop. And when I need to match the color, all I do is go into that and I touch on that thingo to get the color from there. But there's like, if you saw it, and there's the page that you see, and then there's just a random square of the color up here.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to get you guys to see is that it's not just as easy as two mates going, let's do a podcast. We'll throw a few things together and it happens. There is a lot of planning. Plus from there, we obviously had to set up YouTube, set up all the social medias, get TikTok, and even work out how that you guys could listen to this if you don't want to watch it on YouTube. And these are things that we have obviously learnt over the years. We also learnt a lot of new things that we didn't know prior to this, I would say. And I think what we just want you to see is...
I mean, we've both done podcasting before. But, I mean, we both went to places you've got to either have a limit or you got to pay. And suddenly I found this one that doesn't. Yeah, and it works with Spotify, and it's like, oh, great, fabulous.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's like, it's work. You know, the fact is there's no hidden. You know, it's not like I'm actually waiting for the day they say, oh, now you got to pay us. I'm waiting for that to come. But there's nothing. I can't find it.
Yeah, but and that's the thing though. There are a few options out there where you can get free stuff and you can save money here and there.
Oh, yeah.
But then there's other things like, for example, a good microphone. If you're going to do something like this, a good webcam or a good camera is always good. But what we're trying to get you guys to see is that sometimes it does take a lot more planning than you see, and there's a lot more stuff behind the scene than two morons sitting here and chatting for an hour and a half. And that's the honest truth. And I think with what you need to...
Dorks, get it right, not morons.
Okay, yeah, that's true, dorks. And I think that's what we're just trying to help these people that are coming up and people that do listen to this, that want to start a podcast or want to start videos or start something like that, is there is a growing phase. And yes, technically we've come out, we've got our thumbnails looking good because I'm pretty good at doing graphics and stuff like that. Not quite as good as Zach.
That's one of his entire jobs on this podcast.
Yeah.
That was the agreement.
Was thumbnails. I can do some video editing and stuff.
I set up most of the socials and the YouTube and all that bit. Thumbnails, this guy. I
try to take care of all the technical stuff, even though Zach charged me, but that's fine. I'll crack it at him. I'm joking.
I told you. No. You send me a bill, Paul. I'll sort it out.
But there are things that you have to pay for, and there are things out there like Fiverr, for example. As much as we like to hate on Fiverr, there are some good things there you can get done.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Fiverr.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with Fiverr, man.
I've noticed now though, you have to try to handpick a little bit, because quite often what you do is you just have them that sign up for a site and then just put your name in. Yeah,
there are a few dodge now.
Yeah.
But back when I first started, Fiverr was Fiverr's always been the joke.
Yeah.
It has been the joke. But there's some good. You can get some good stuff out of Fiverr for a very good price. I mean, although to be fair, my Oaks Head logo design I found through Twitter because a guy was advertising. Yeah. And I liked his art style, and I was like, well, look, I've already have a logo that someone designed for us for free, but I want essentially updated. And he saw it and he was like, yeah, I could do that. And he did it at I'll be honest, a steal of a price for the amount of stuff I got out of him.
Yeah.
And the only thing he said is that I don't do calligraphy, so the writing bit I can't do. And I was like, well, It's gonna look terrible when I do it. It's fine. It's all right. The artwork looks amazing, though, and that's all I care about.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
But I do think that
no one cares about what's writing there. It's like, oh,
No.
that looks like a good orc. You know.
yeah, and I think that's the thing. And there are little things out here where you can do stuff. Twitter's a really good thing. Like if you put in, like if I put hashtag logo in any of my tweets, I guarantee I'll get 70 people DM me.
Yeah. Or to be just for social, just for sharing. I mean, obviously, depending on. I mean, obviously, I don't think it works too well for maybe tech. Obviously, you can probably tell me different. But like for niche, for games and stuff like that, Twitter is amazing. For social commentary, so Twitter's amazing.
Twitter's actually big because I found with Twitter, especially with board games great because there's a massive American community. And what you need to realize too is that, especially Twitter, America is probably its main sort of, I guess, the main people that use it. Obviously, Europe's dropped on now and Australia as well, but you tend to find it's really big for America. So for myself, I was an Australian board game reviewer that most people in America knew. And to be fair, at one point, I was probably more popular in America than I was in Australia. Even now, my website, I think I have something like 57% that come from America. So, and a lot of that is from sharing it on Twitter, from people seeing it on Twitter. And I think Twitter is a really good platform. And also the good thing about that too, though, is it's very easy to find things. Like if you need animators, you can also use that. There's another one called, I think it's called Upwork or Upskill. Is another one where you can hire...
yeah, I've heard of it. It's a bit like it is like Fiverr, but it's more of a professional setting.
Yeah, but it's also a lot cheaper at times as well, where you pay. So for example, Jordan may be offering it for $15, and then somebody else from say India or Kazakhstan might be offering it for $10. So you can actually, if you type in social media, you can actually find what you need, see if they can do it, and their hourly rate might be a little bit different. So you pay them by the hour, which is fine. But there are a lot of tools out there you can use. But just remember, when you come into this, like ours has probably looked fairly professional, I would say, overall, considering our limited skill set.
I think with our limited skill set, I think we're doing a decent product.
Yeah, it looks better
for a
than
change.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it looks better than if somebody has no skill or has no previous experience in it and came through. And the thing we're just trying to say is that at the end of the day, it is a growing experience. And as long as you're opening to learning, and this is something that I always say, try to learn everything. If somebody says to you, "Oh, your graphics isn't good," go out there and have a play with graphics. Like, there's a lot of things that I can do on my phone. Like, there's a couple of programs that I use that I can remove backgrounds, I can change and edit things. And some of these programs are actually really easy to use, and they're a no-brainer, but you've got to kind of think outside the box. But what we're trying to get you to see is that you're going to have to learn many aspects. It's not just as easy as going record and then we'll talk for a bit. You've got to understand that there's social aspects, there's this, and obviously as you get bigger, you can kind of go, okay, cool, I'm going to hire this or hire that, but that's long term, and that's massive long term. Start content creating as a passion, and I think that's what it needs to be. I think content creation needs to be a passion project that has the opportunity to turn into something real.
Also, and the one final thing I'll say is, look, if you lose your passion for it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Take a breath, take a step back. I mean, I think at one point, YouTube, before I got, I was doing 3 videos a week. And it was great at the start because I had loads of different ideas for it. But then suddenly the ideas started drying up. And suddenly I was putting myself under a load of pressure for no reason.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to 1 video a week. Now, I'll tell you now, YouTube algorithm does not like you doing 1 video a week. 100%. They don't like it. They hate. They even hate my current style, which is I release a load of content in bursts.
Yeah, that's even worse.
And then you have and it's even worse. But the fact is that, this is what I'm comfortable with because, one, I'm not streaming anymore because I'm in this podgy little office that I'm sick of being in, and I can't wait for my setup. I'm looking forward to that. But he
can't poop, but he's going to have a great office.
I'm going to have a great office with no sewage system. It's going to be fabulous. But the fact is that because I associate, as the issue is that my lifestyle has changed, and now I associate this place rather than gaming. This is my workplace, so I can't take myself in and out of it, sort of thing, and change. That's the reason why I've got fancy lighting. I've even got the rhythm module now, so we can make the music. We can make the music beat to it, and I got it for $20. Mate, it was meant to be 100. It's at the end of line. I got it for $20.
Be ready, folks. We're about to have a lighting session for for Barbie Girl from Aqua when Jordan gets his new office.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with Barbie Girl by
I don't
Aqua?
know.
There's
I just
nothing
want
wrong
pink
with
and
that.
yellow lights just to flash when you do it.
I'll tell you what. I'll set you up. My son will love that as well.
What's weird too though is because there's a guy called the Power of Grit who I was lucky enough to meet at that Saints Row thing, and he has it that if you get a certain amount of points in his thingo, you can actually get it's a burst of music of about 15, 20 seconds, and then the lights change, and it's really good. So you just put, say for example, like hashtag Dez or hashtag Orcshead, and then your tune will play and the lights will flash. And he set it up so that way then if he's playing a game, if he's in the middle of it and you come in, you put in your thingo and whatever your song is, it plays. And he's like, oh, hey, Des, how's things? And little things like that where you can make them kind of like pull on different things, it's cool. And I think that's something that Neo lights work because I've seen a few people do that where they're like change the lights to purple by using channel points or doing this. And I think those Neo Leafs are amazing. And I think they've really been engraced by it. And I can't wait to see you have them up there because I want to play with them.
I mean, it's just one of. I mean, as I say, I'm looking forward to having. Obviously, in the daytime, it's going to be my office. But at night time, we're going to have the lights on. We're going to have the mood set.
Yeah,
You know, it's all about the romanticizing me into content creation. That's what I'm planning. That's the way we're planning on doing it.
It's like, hello, ladies, watch me open this pack.
Like Jordan, let's open this pack, Jordan. It's like, oh yes, certainly. Let's yeah.
Pretty soon he's going to be doing a different type of live streaming, shall we say? We can hold out for that, ladies, and anyone that
OnlyFans account.
Yeah, it's going to be called Only Bears. He's going to love it.
Bears.
Oh, but
we can't use two bears. Probably.
Damn it. But no, it is, and I think
you need to grow a beard.
It's never going to happen. Like that. I shaved this morning, and I've got like a half a goatee, sides, smooth as a baby's bum.
Smooth as a baby's ass.
But I think that's what we're trying to get at with content creating. Content creating needs to be like, if you come at it as a business, you're going to have to need a lot of money for different things. But come at it from somewhere that's a passion. If you love playing Magic, if you love doing that, try not to focus on the numbers. Definitely. The numbers will drive you insane. Like if I can see anything, like you can go onto Twitter right now, and I could probably go onto Twitter right now if I can remember where I put my phone and probably find you several posts of streamers and stuff, like they're mentally struggling or they take time off because emotionally they're doing it or because they're not getting the numbers. And this is the thing that I think stresses out and what kind of like burdens a lot of people is they focus on the numbers. Oh, I've only got 6 people watching. Last week I had 10. Or I'm only getting 1,000 views where before I was getting 1,200. When you start focusing on the numbers rather than the passion of the content, it is going to play on your mind. And I think
your content will suffer because of it.
Yeah. And like, to be fair, you're already editing, you're already doing your social media, you're already coming up with ideas, you're already doing this. The last thing you need to do too is add the stress of numbers. Because as soon as you do that, all of a sudden you find that these ideas that you had that you did from passion, you're not. And then all that pressure. So your editing, there's more pressure on. Your ideas, there's more pressure on. Your recording, there's more pressure on. Your social, there's more pressures on. And then you find the numbers. And if the numbers do better or not do better, there's more pressure on that. And then if things go up, you're like, oh, that's awesome. But then the problem is you start losing that passion. Then you start getting in this spiral. And then before you know it, you actually start to struggle because there's so much burden on you that you can't deal. And
it is, and I'll speak from a personal standpoint that I've gone through it in that way, and I've also gone through the reverse, because you end up having your little break, and then you're like, oh my god, I can't get back in. How do I get back in? What do I do? What's the grand idea? And it's like, why do I need a grand idea?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is, I came back to it after I had quite a big break because I ended up catching COVID and stuff like that. But I ended up, it was just an early access got given to me, and I was like, oh, great, I'll do early access. It was the wrong kind of early access, in my opinion, but, these things happen. But, and I let Wizards know, it was that the Baldur's Gate one, because they did Alchemy Arena, and I'm like, right, okay. And I said, look, I get why you did it. It's fine. You can do whatever events you want. However, I'll tell you now, Alchemy's not the way to do it. And it's not big enough yet. We're not, it's kind of... people want to see standard, and that's it on Arena mainly. They don't. Not the historic and Arena scene is not big. Yeah. And when you say, "Oh, we're going to give early access to it, all the streamers can play Arena Alchemy," it's like, great, fabulous. That doesn't help my content whatsoever, and that's what I kind of said.
Yeah,
But I mean, I think I ended up that day doing mainly limited. I did
Yeah.
like draft and sealed because I was like, I have no ideas for decks.
Well,
You know?
and that's the one thing that I've found too, though, is that companies are still also learning this whole thing when it comes to
Yes.
content creating. So this is one thing that I've noticed as well. There's been times where people are going like, we need you to do a video on X. And that video can just be like, oh, look, I got this folder. Look how pretty it is. It holds my cards. Where then you see something, and I think this is why the prof got so thing, where he would put his cards in it and put it in water to see how waterproof it actually is, or throw it in the oven, or throw it off a balcony and do something a little bit crazy. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Like, just because the client says, we want you to review X, it doesn't mean you need to review it. Just be like, oh, this mouse, you can do 2,000 clicks, and you just click it 2,000 times, or look at the scroll wheel work. Like, those kind of things, like, and that's one thing that I say when I read my reviews. If somebody wants to know how many clicks, how much battery life, you can look on the company website. You need to add real world experience of what things happen. Think outside the box. Don't be afraid to also talk to these companies. Like, if a Logitech or if a board game company or a gaming company sends me a game and it is crap, don't be afraid to say, listen, this is where I had some issues about it. Be honest with them and open with them, because you tend to find more companies will actually be like, we actually like that. And nothing says that they'll go, okay, cool, and they'll think about it, and then they'll hear a few more people, or they'll see customers writing, oh, I didn't like this because I wanted it to be rechargeable, or I wanted this to be here, and it gets them thinking.
Or I need it to be more entry level. The problem is there's too many steps to get going. You know, that's the one. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, we as a family enjoy playing board games, but we have an 8-year-old. If it's not quick and easy to pick up in the first 10-15 minutes, it's going to be a long game because you know we're having to re-explain and keep explaining. It's like, look, this should be pretty straightforward. You know, it needs to be, oh, it's this, and compare it to something else, and it works. You know, it's like, you know, try and make it relatable.
And that's the thing with board games. Like, I've got probably 6 or 7 groups of people that I play board games with, but I also know that if I get a Euro game, I'm not taking it to these people that have kids or these people that have just got into board games, because this is a 6-hour game. They're not going to be able to do a 6-hour game. You definitely depends on the player. And I think that's with a lot of people is that, and this is one thing that I like. So whether you're a reviewer that's like an expert, like say, for example, you're the top Magic professional and you're playing this game here, versus being an entry-level person that's a bit of a noob, people see things differently. And often what happens is, as your content grows, the people that will grow with you, and as you do that, you'll also pick up people in those things. But don't be afraid to also say, this would be good for X, and show some comparisons so people can place it. And I think that was one thing that I think Prof did so well, was Prof came in with a way that was kind of... He was great. He made it funny. He made it entertaining. He would rip things. He would burn things to see how fireproof they were. Like, silly things like this can sometimes be good. And I think with companies are also going to see what you did, the content you make, and it's going to make them remember you. And I think it's also going to make them progress and go, oh, actually, this is the content we want. Or, you're right, this is pretty bad. Maybe we should fix this. And you'll find that what will happen is the products will actually start changing with how the market changes. And I think that's...
Well, it's really funny. I mean, I have a funny... I mean, in relation to, like, I remember when Prof got the Eclipse sleeves, the Total Eclipse sleeves. Really good. Loved them. And I loved them in the UK. They were fabulous. And I bought a pack when I moved down here, because obviously I was sleeving up a deck, and I was like, I went and got some. And it's a different it's a different company that makes them down here.
Yeah.
And they're not good. They're terrible. In fact, most Eclipse stuff down here is not rated whatsoever. Dragon Shield here, though. All right, yeah, Dragon Shield is you know, in comparison to back to the UK, it's pretty much the same. But in comparison to what else is available on the market, it's one of those things of it's like, oh great, well Dragon Shield's amazing here. And it's amazing how, you know, different, you know, you find out about different manufacturers, you know, because obviously these companies get their stuff made. And sometimes they're like, oh, well, we're not going to set up a factory on the other side of the world. Yeah. Or we're not, because obviously shipping costs to that side of the world cost too much.
Yeah, we'll get these made in China, we'll get them shipped to these 3 regions, and then we'll get them made in America or Europe, and we'll get them shipped to these 3 regions. And that's the thing, though.
Whereas Prof was like, you know, so the fact is, you know, whereas I was like, oh no, Eclipse sleeves all the way, they're amazing. Because when I was in the UK, They're great. They're
Yeah.
fabulous. Shuffle feels good and all this jazz. Whereas, like, you get down here and I bought a pack and they didn't shuffle right. I literally pulled them out and I was like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
You just knew. And then I put my cards in, I'm shuffling, I'm like, I don't like this. This is terrible. And they started splitting and all this jazz, and he's like, and then you start talking to the LGS, and it's like, yeah, no one buys these, man. They're awful. Everyone just goes with Dragon Shield because Dragon Shield are at least consistent.
Yeah.
They're not great. They're not the greatest, but
No.
at least they do the job.
Yeah, but the thing is, things like that you never know. Like one of the better reviews that I got, or that I got a good feedback on, was I was trying to say that this mouse weighs, I think it was like 59 grams or something, and you know when you go, oh this
It's
this
59 grams.
yeah this thing here weighs 4 kilos. You're like, okay, well I know roughly what 4 kilos is, but I don't really get it. But at the time I had a Snickers bar sitting there, king size Snickers bar, and it had 49 grams on it. So I said it's about the same as a Snickers bar, 49 the same price as a king size Snickers bar, which I happen to have sitting on my desk. And it was written more just in jest of trying to give people a real world thing to do it.
Yeah.
And then to the point where the client came back to me and loved it and thought it was funny because it actually makes people go, "Fuck that! I've eaten a Snickers bar. The Snickers bars aren't."
It can't be the same. It can't be the same way as a Snickers bar.
Yeah,
They want to
and it gives people like a real world thing. But it's weird how little things you find or little things that you do can have a lot more of effect. And I think that's why I said, like, I've just taken on a new writer, Kelly, or Mankey as we all call her, and she's amazing, and she's got a lot of ideas, but she kind of goes to sit down and she gets so excited that when she types, it just kind of goes, blah, 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 and you're like, I don't know what she means. But obviously then we've been working with her to get it to edit it, and she's a really great writer. She has an amazing knowledge, so it's good. But I'm saying to her, I was like, it's great that you're putting X, Y, and Z, but these points I can find on here. Tell me things that like you found experiencing in real world stuff. And like in one of the headsets she lost the cord, the cable, and then she found that trying to get a new one was virtually impossible. Like because certain types, like it's just type C, so type C easy into it, and the inset is so small that you need a particular size, and all these things. I was like, see, you told me that. That's the bit that interests me. I don't care that you can.
That's the bit the company's not going to tell you because they don't care about it. To them, it's a design idea.
Yeah, or that those are the things that people are going to be like. Because like, how many times have we lost the bloody cable for something? Like, I reckon every time I try to update my stupid Navman, I've got to buy the cable because I can't remember where I put it because I only use it like once every 6 months, and it kills me. But things like that are good to know. Like, it's not something like, so I could buy another Type C cable, but it's not going to fit. Or I need to do things like this. I'm like, these are the little things that people want to know.
Yeah,
because anybody can Google things. And I think this is what you need to do. You need to share your own experience. You need to almost become part of the entertainment in itself. And I think that's what it is that people need to go like, I like Magic, I like Jordan, so I'm going to go to Jordan for my Magic rather than hoping that they just randomly find you. And I think that's what we're trying to get is that do it from a passion, be real, because as soon as you start being fake, the hardest thing is though, is you got to continue to be fake. And then as you get bigger, you start to have to be faker and more on and more on. And we're all people. Like there's days where I'm like, I don't really feel like doing content. And like my housemate will go to bed and I know I've got stuff to do, but I'll just go into my bed because I'm like, I just need some time for me. I'm tired or I'm not feeling great or I've had a rough day at work. And just be real with people. I think people are going to be able to connect with you when they realize you're a real person. Where if you're like an Instagram model that supposedly always happens to be at a desert island dressed up into nines, it's unbelievable. And you find that some people will go like, oh, I want that lifestyle and focus on that. But then as they grow, they're not going to. And I think that's what I always found was be real, be honest, try to be as open as you can, and people will connect.
Yeah. My last bit I'll say, obviously, the thing will be don't demand. So don't demand. I don't try to get stuff for free because it's not going to work all the time. You can try and be cheeky. Don't get me wrong. If you're setting up a deal with someone, you can try and be as cheeky as you can, but don't expect it.
No.
Don't. Collaborations work both ways. It's not a one-way street.
100%.
I am not going to promote someone who's not going to promote me back. And
Yeah.
realistically, I'm happy to promote people that I enjoy. I've done it with several small streamers who,
Hell, we've done it on this podcast where we've mentioned and dropped names of people that are
yeah,
on YouTube or streamers
yeah,
because they're people that we actually like and we do. And
but I don't expect anything back from it's like with Wizards of the Coast. I don't expect anything from them. Likewise, is I feel no obligation to filter myself in relation. If I have an opinion of Wizards, I will give it.
yeah,
But likewise, if I decide tomorrow that I'm leaving the hobby, that's it. I'm out. No more Magic the Gathering ever. Not going to do anything. I'm certainly gonna badmouth them on the way
no,
out and say you're not doing enough and blah blah blah. Because to me, that's burning a bridge. Because what happens in the future could be 5 years from now that I come back. They guarantee you there might be a mark against Orcs and Magic. No, we don't allow him in. No, we're not letting him do the early access anymore. We're not allowing him to do this.
but that's and I think that's 100% accurate because I've seen that happen. I think we've seen that happen recently with a friend of ours.
Yes.
That did seem to get quite angry that he was feeling underappreciated, that they weren't, that he wasn't, he felt like he deserved more, he should have been given more stuff, he should have been given this. I was like, man, to be fair, like I've been lucky where I've got quite a bit of stuff now, but I'm still thankful for every single thing I get, and I'm honestly like blown away. Like I know for a fact that there's 30 other board game reviewers, there's 30 other tech reviewers out there that deserve the stuff as much as me, but there's obviously a reason I've been given it, and I think if you're given something, I would say that it's something that's good, and I think that burning bridges and stuff, like there's no point to it. Like it's kind of like me not enjoying, my burger or something, and then before I leave the burger place, screaming at all the staff and then walking out. Like,
I mean, obviously, if Wizards had done something to me that's unjust, different story. However, if it's just the fact is that Wizards aren't giving my area enough attention,
yeah,
and so you decide to, scream from the hills. I mean, to what limited audience you have, it's not the best of ideas because it's going to put a mark against your name regardless. Someone in Wizards will see it,
yeah,
which is great, but at the same time, they're going to see it in the wrong light, and they're going to possibly mark your name and go, yeah, let's not work with him from now on because of this, and or work with them, or it could be whatever, for whatever reason you've done it, that's completely fine. But I'm not into burning bridges. I mean, the fact is, like, for example, with Games Workshop, I have a bridge to burn with how I left the company, and we did the last episode, and I said, look, different story for another day, happily tell you offline, and we'll discuss that probably in Tassie. But that's the way life, the cookie crumbled. And the fact is, do I hold it against Games Workshop? No. It was just business at the end of the day and all that jazz. But the fact is, do I actively go and promote people to work for them? Hell no.
And I think that's like anything. Like if I have a bad meal at a restaurant, or if I have a bad experience at a retail store, be it buying clothes, buying miniatures, buying cards, whatever, I'm just going to be like, okay, I don't really like the owner of that card shop, or I don't like the way they do business. I'm going to go to a next one. But I'm not going to scream them out. I'm not going to abuse the hell out of them. I'm not going to go bananas at them or go up these massive tirades. And I think that at the end of the day, there's going to be times where you're not going to feel like creating content, or that passion's going to go, or you're going to feel like X, Y, and Z is getting more stuff than you are. And at the end of the day, that has nothing to do with you. You could be producing the best content on, say, for example, Magic the Gathering cards. But they could also be looking for somebody that produces it in Spanish, or that has a lot more learning, or comes at it from a different angle than you do. That's not saying your content's bad. That's not saying that they don't appreciate you. That's just saying that the company has decided to go a different direction.
I mean, funnily enough, I remember when was it it was when we went to Dominaria, returned to Dominaria in the new latest sets. Not the Dominaria United, the one before it. And Prof got a common card, and everyone was livid about it. It's like, how come he's only got a common? He should be having a rare or a mythic or so. It's like, because they've given him Tolarian Scholar, which is in relation to his channel called Tolarian College.
Which is
Wizards. Wizards are thinking in terms of PR and marketing, not give him a rare because he deserves a rare. It's not the point.
And doesn't he play a lot of Pauper as well?
Yeah, he plays pauper. The fact is that technically, I mean, it was a terrible pauper card, but still, that's not the point. The
Yeah.
fact is, obviously, they're thinking of high level, marketing.
Yeah.
It's like when they did what was it? Iconic Masters. That was it. When they did Iconic Masters, they got a load of people who content created to get cards, but it's like who's the Proto guy? The Brian Summer or other.
Oh.
He lost once in a teams game to Bonfire of the Damned. Guess which card he got in Iconic Masters?
Oh, that's funny.
Bonfire of the Damned, because and it was and that was the majority of the theme. All these content creators are getting cards related to cards they've been screwed over by, and it's just like, funny and hilarity.
But what's funny too, though, is from an outsider, I see him get that card, and I'm like, oh, cool. Why did he get this? And I think that's what sometimes you need to realize is sometimes companies have different ways of thinking. Like there might be, so for example, like there was a recent Logitech event where they released all their new stuff. And I've done some good work with Logitech and I wasn't invited. But then and then I'm like, I'm not going to scream and yell and go, Logitech didn't do this. But when you have a look at it, what they actually did is they released all white, like a full white thing. They paired it off with, and they collaborated with a makeup brand. So they obviously had the ear cups where it was a certain shade and stuff like that. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I've worked with Logitech quite a bit. And as a company, I've been very lucky with them. But then I kind of look at it and I'm like, well, obviously they're trying to go after a more feminine market or somebody that's more suited that. And yeah, they had all female content creators. And no matter whether you think you're better or worse or whatever you fit in there or you've worked with this company, like Jordan said, like this event here, there's just different angles that some people go for. And if you don't fit into that direction, not saying it's bad, not saying you need to scream and yell, it's just saying that we're trying something a little bit different.
Yeah. And companies in America may not support all the way down in New Zealand, for example.
Yeah.
So what? These things happen. The fact is I've chosen the passion I'm in. I'm here. I get what I give him.
Yeah.
Take what you're given. Who cares?
And the good thing about having a passion is if that passion doesn't be, or if you're only doing it for product and you're not getting product, or if you can't afford it, then
let's be honest. I could be livid at you. Because how much Magic product you get, and you're not. I mean, okay, you play Magic, but you're not as
definitely not
deeply down the rabbit hole that I am.
And I would definitely not. And I would definitely not say that I'm a Magic content creator. Like we did the podcast, obviously, but because at the moment what they're doing is they're trying to go after. So that with the Magic the Gathering here, often what they do is they have a media one, which is more written media and stuff like that. And then they have a streamer event the day after. So what they do is they invite a whole heap of streamers. And I think because, for example, what they're trying to do is they're hoping that by giving it to like a gaming site or giving it to a streamer, it may open up more avenues for them to buy. And to be fair, like if Jordan was annoyed at me for the Magic product I get, I would 100% understand, because do I think that like himself, like Numbers, like Magic Bean podcast, like all these other guys deserve it more than me? 100%. Not saying that they don't. Like I'm 100% being honest. But obviously I know that they're trying to go down an avenue where they're trying to steer it away from Magic content creators, because obviously people that want that are going to be liking that, and they're going to try to find other avenues to build their sales.
Well, it's as I said last podcast with Warhammer. The majority of all people who get into Warhammer are kids. And why is that? Because parents don't want them playing on computer screens, so they get them the paint set. And what's your job when you're hired? How do you upsell? Well, you got this. Why don't you build this army? Buy this codex. Buy this book. Here's some history about it. Oh, have you considered adding shaders? Have you considered doing this, that, and the other? Suddenly you realise that you've milked them for $1,000.
Yeah.
And then they make it out of it. Great, but at least we got $1,000 out of it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing with making content is, and like I mean, as I said, I've been doing this several years. I've managed to write for multiple different websites. I now run my own, and there is money involved. Obviously, like you do have to pay out, but at the end of the day, too, though, I'm doing this from a passion. Nothing says that I can't be like, I'm not feeling it anymore. I'm just going to stop, and you can, and that's the thing you need to realize is. Like Jordan said, that he was going through some things where he was like, I'm not feeling 100%. I'm going to stop. And nothing says that you can't stop and start as many times as you want. Nothing says you can't reinvent yourself. Like Jordan could literally go, I don't want to do Magic anymore. I want to do Warhammer miniatures, or I want to do like gaming and tech or board games. And like anything, like if I speak to 20-year-old Derek, 20-year-old Derek probably had a lot different passions to what 40-year-old Derek did to what 60-year-old Derek's going to have. And I think that's what you've got to realize, that once it starts being a passion, the passion starts wearing off. Don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to be open to other opportunities because, like, for example, board games was a lot of my focus, but I always had a love for tech and people used to come for me because I love tech. And then I got the opportunity to review something on one of the websites I was because they also did tech. And it just opened a door. And there is progression. And as long as you're open to it and willing to come at it with an open mind and realize that it's not all about the fame, the fortune, the accolades, the getting showered in free products. It is actually work, and it is something that takes work. Like I probably put almost 35, 40 hours at least a week into making content, including like editing this podcast and other things.
Same here. I mean, doing content is nearly a full-time job.
Yeah.
Once you add on editing, recording the thing's the easiest bit.
Yeah.
Once you've got all the audio, well, then you realise the audio's not right, and then you got to redo it, which is always harder with products. But anyway, so yeah. I mean, I think we better cut it there because I'm pretty sure we could rant on for probably another hour. And
Yes.
We better not.
But yes,
anyway.
but this is just hopefully a little guide for people, or especially the younger generation that are thinking of getting into it and thinking that they're just going to press record, be famous, buy a Porsche and live a happy life.
I mean, certainly. I'll tell you what. Leave comments, guys. If you are a creator yourself, we'd love to hear from you.
100%. And we'd love to hear your story, because what my story is very different to Jordan's story. What's very different to your story. So by all means, please, that would be amazing. And I'm more than happy to read them out on the podcast or do it, because there are people that have got famous or start doing really well in several months. And there's some that do it for 7 or 8 years and then get really big, and everyone's journey is different. So
much so, yeah.
And just be mindful that it's not all about fame and fortune. Sometimes it's about the passion and love for it, because I think if you have a passion and love for it, you're more likely to be able to then roll that into a business or roll that into a money-making thing, because of being real, being able to build these relationships, being able to build these understandings, having people that follow you because of who you are and what you can offer, versus just, I want free stuff, give me free stuff.
Yeah, I think that's our own little personal pandemic that goes on with content creators. But anyway, that's different. I'm pretty sure that's an hour-long ranting on its own, but we want free stuff. We can discuss that down the line. Anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap it up right now. Let's wrap it up because
we talk way too much shit.
We talked way too much shit, and I need to go eat, man. But anyway,
we
want to say much love to everyone who's been enjoying the podcast so far. Thank you for all the interaction you are giving us. If you can, subscribe to us on either our YouTube, follow us on Spotify. We're even now on Google playlists, podcast playlists, Google Podcasts. So I've worked out how to get us on Google Podcasts. Slowly but surely, I'm learning the ways of podcasting.
And if you have a poster that wants to go on the back of my wall, so Duty stops sending me messages about my blank ass wall, that's also possible.
I did get the twin poster for that other one.
Which twin?
Do you remember the robot one I showed you?
Yeah.
From our drinking days? Well, this is the other one. That's the essentially this is the Godzilla one. The other one's not Godzilla. Oh no, so it's all wrapped up. I'll get the image through for it. But anyway.
Yes, but just so Duty can stop paying me out, because otherwise I'm literally just going to get duct tape and a banana, and then hope that it doesn't rip all the paint off.
I'm going to order you an AliExpress banana. Just for
shits and giggles, just to put it up there.
Just shits and giggles, why not? But yeah, anyway, much love, guys. Thank you for all the love we've received so far, and we enjoy. I mean, I'm enjoying making this. I mean,
at the end of the day, that's the main thing. We're having fun, and we're going to share all our dorky and nerdy stuff with you. So keep listening, subscribe.
And we've got more coming up, especially as we're going to be having our live meetup soon.
That's going to be bad and good all in the same one. And
it's great for us, and it's bad for Dez because it means that I'm going to make him drink, which is going to be fabulous. It's going to be so good.
My liver just did a somersault just thinking about it. I'm like,
you've got your poor liver, Dez. I feel sorry for it.
He's like, you're fucked. That's what I'm saying. Fucked.
Pretty much. You need to channel your inner Brit days, and it may be able to get there. And we'll
just
go from
practicing my liver stretches. But thank you so much, guys.
Thank you much. Much love. Peace out. Enjoy yourselves. And remember to like, share, subscribe, do it. All that other fun stuff. All right, guys? Bye.